What's that burning smell?
Burning, you mind? It's a traditional dish. Called fried eggs stuck to the bottom of the pan.
Can you eat it?
I take it you prefer cereal, dear.
After shift. What time do you train?
11:15.
Now go easy with your dad. No rows, no problems.
No way.
Just give him a lot of love. Half of it from me. And don't feel you have to hurry back.
Well, first you criticise my cookie, then you say you don't want me back. It's a great start to the day, isn't it? How are you, Dad?
Trouble.
How is she?
She's very ill.
Go to the hospital then, eh?
I've just come from it. I'm on my way home.
Well, there's a taxi.
I can walk.
We'll take a taxi, Dad.
Well, if you've got money to burn.
You look tired, Dad.
Well, I've been up with her 4 nights. You want a beer?
Fancy a cup of tea, actually.
Well, you can make that. I'll just have a couple of beers and then I'll lay down for a bit.
Then we'll go to the hospital. We'll go to the hospital after you've had a nap, eh?
Tell me, Summit. Why did you really come?
What do you mean? Of course I come.
The visits you've paid us, I can count on my 2 hands.
Now, we've been through all that before.
Maybe to your satisfaction, not to mine.
Now, don't be like that, Dad. I wanted to come.
You've never shown that much interest in your stepmother?
Look, it's just that... Well, it took me a long time to get used to the idea that when my mum died, you remarried a touch too fast.
No. Or remarried a touch too low.
Oh, well, no, that's not true either. You know it. Look, I may be 100 rotten things, but I'm not a snob.
Well, Mary always... She's dying, Tom. You're her stepmother. And I'm not at all sure I want you here.
Well, I'd like to stay. But, sleep on it. Hmm? And if you want me to, I'll go.
Massive cerebral hemorrhage.
Was my father there when it happened?
Yes, he was. Of course, you're not supposed to move the patient. He did. Now, he knows he shouldn't have moved her, and that's upset him a bit. Oh, we're doing all we can. We must just wait for nature to take its course. We can't predict when she'll come round. But it doesn't look too good, Tom.
Can I...
Excuse me.
Can I start me down? Is he physically okay?
Oh, yes, yes. Of all our merry band of volunteers, nobody puts in more hours than he does. A year ago, we had a house father and mother who were both injured in a car crash. It's hell's own job finding replacements. But your dad insisted on stepping in helping to look after 11 children for a month, driving, cooking, doing everything for them.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, it knocked him out a bit afterwards, not unnaturally, but normally he's got the constitution of a horse.
I didn't even know he could cook.
Oh, yes. He can do anything when he sets his mind to it. No, it's never his physical fitness I'm worried about. It's more his psychological state.
And what's that?
Well, it's hard to explain, but somehow, you know, he's a deeply unhappy man. Now, there are people like him. Mary gives him the home life and apparent security, but he's the sort who'll never be content, who never feels that he's really got to grips with his life. Feels that he's never achieved enough.
And what happens if Mary dies?
I don't know. Maybe the rugged individualist will come unstuck. I'll tell you something, though. Your father has given his all to this hospital. And if Mary goes, I just want to say, you'll never be short of friends here.
Send this report to HQ marked for the attention of Mr. Hallam.
Right, ma'am.
Oh, and I've had confirmation that Renshaw can go on the driving course. So would you like to tell him the good news?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Gallagher's back from his walking tour today, isn't he?
If you call a 24-hour stroll on the moors a tour, ma'am, yes.
Actually, I'm a bit concerned about him. Twice when I talked to him last week, I sensed... he seems a bit distrayed, does young Davy. Any idea why?
No, ma'am.
Not holding back on me, are you, Sergeant?
No, ma'am.
Do you still think he's a good copper?
He's a reasonable lad, basically sound.
I think so.
He's a bit loud, you know. That's the Scots background. A bit quick with an opinion, a bit off on the humour, like. But we think well enough of him.
You, George, and the others in this station know more gossip than the CIA. You must know the form on Gallagher.
Well, now you mention it, he did say something to one of the lads some thought he'd had about a transfer.
Transfer? But he's hardly just arrived from Strathclyde.
Yes, ma'am.
Get your ear to the ground, Joseph, see what you can find out. Oh, and when Gallagher comes in, ask him to see me.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you, lad?
OK, Joe.
Still living off the immoral earnings of the police?
Aye, something like that.
It's been a long time, Tom. Country's in a worse bloody state than when we last met. You got anything to do with that?
No, no.
Well, I wouldn't give you a fiver for the whole of the United Kingdom. Well, it's back to my penthouse. So do you feel like a walk, a talk, and hit the pubs at appropriate hour?
Well, I could do with a bite to eat.
Sandwich or something more substantial?
I'm eating since breakfast.
Then it's Britley's answer to the Savoy drill. Come on, lad.
Gerald?
Hello.
Sir, would you care to order, please?
Well, for me, chicken korma, please.
With chips or rice?
Oh, with rice.
Come on, Tom. Being a snob, I bet you want it with chips.
No, I don't. I want it with rice.
Half a tandoori chicken with chips.
Any vegetable?
Not for me, thanks, no.
Yes, please. Dal, bindi, and a couple of naan.
Thank you, Mr. Gerald.
Oh. Yes, you're right. We wouldn't have preferred chip. We haven't ordered any drink.
No, we don't have to. He knows we're only here for the beer. How long are you down for?
A couple of days. Just depends how it goes with Mary.
How is your stepmother?
Not good.
How's your dad taking?
But he's very upset.
You know, I see quite a lot of him.
Yeah?
Twice a week, chess club, St. Thomas's Old People's Home. He organises it. And I get threatening phone calls from him if I don't turn up.
Dr. Maidment was saying he's very useful at the hospital.
Well, he may be very charitably disposed towards the hospital, but when he's talking about you...
Yeah, I know. I can imagine.
Did you never get on, even as a child?
I don't know. No, we didn't, no. No, it's as if he'd built a very solid wall between us. All my life I've thought, well, one day he'll take it down, I'll give him time, but... seems to be putting up more stones, making it stronger.
Rather a complex simile?
No, it's not a simile, it's the truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Cheers. Well, good health.
Sup up, lad.
I've got that's a nice drop of stuff in it.
I told her so. So, how's the work?
Well, you know what I'm doing?
Oh, your dad's always on about you and the social services.
And what does he say about you?
Don't you know?
Not really.
Well, all sorts of things.
Well, come on, give us an example.
You two really don't communicate, do you?
Come on, what does he say about me, Joe?
Well, he feels the same way as I do, Tom, about what you've done with your life. By the way, this is my treat to social workers and less than teachers, I believe.
What do you mean he feels the same way as you do?
Oh, later, Tom, when we've eaten and I've drunk enough Dutch courage, eh?
Come in. Oh, David, sit down, please. I'd like to talk with you. You still happy here?
Yes, Mum.
Sure.
Yeah.
There seems to be an opinion in general circulation that recently your mind's not on the job.
But it is, Mum.
It's not what I hear, David. Is there anything troubling you here? Any problems with the other men?
No, Mum.
Is it a problem at home?
No, Mum.
Trouble with a girlfriend?
I don't have a girlfriend, Mum.
I'll ask you again. Sergeants Beck and Parrish would likely have noticed any problems here. So is it a problem at home?
No, Mum. Yes, Mum.
Now, come on, David. If there's some worry you're bringing in here from home that's taking your mind off your work, I must know what it is. So what is it?
Well, it's my stepfather, Mum.
Yes?
Well, you know what? I transferred here because my mother remarried Harry Bentham and Hartley. Well, I'm not getting on with my stepfather. That's putting it mildly. We have big rows all the time. And my mother keeps taking his side in the arguments. Well, I only came here because she came here. And, well, I'm thinking of asking for another transfer. I thought maybe I could go back to Glasgow.
A transfer? You've only just got here. Who told you you could bounce around from one police force to another like a yo-yo?
No one, Mum.
Now, come on, David, let's have it. What's been going on?
Well, for a start, my mother's unhappy.
How's that?
Well, since they married, he behaves different. His meals have got to be in time, he's tight with money, and even he goes out with his mates.
Well, that's like a lot of men, David, and a lot of marriages. What about these rows between you and him? What are they about?
I don't know. Well, sometimes they're about nothing.
You all live together, right?
Yeah. Well, some regular. Well, he just comes in and takes right against me. Before I know where it is, it's a shouting match.
Have you asked what's upsetting him?
I can't talk to him. It's impossible.
All right. Thank you for telling me. But you can't run around getting transferred from one place to another.
If I can't have this sorted out, I may have to leave the force altogether, Mum.
Oh, come on. That's a bit extreme.
I don't know if it is. Sorry to bother my family problems.
Well, don't worry yourself on that score. Everybody's got family problems. I've had them. My husband's got them at the moment. But you're too good a copper to lose because of some domestic trouble. We'll talk again later.
Thank you.
Can't remember my father being right about anything. Anything in his life to do with me. Where do you think he got it right?
But he agrees with me.
And why does he agree with you?
Now, look, Tom, You had me for years as a schoolmaster. You must have had enough of my opinions.
No.
When did I first teach you?
Form 2. Taught me history, then maths.
I remember you hated school.
Oh, no, when you were teaching.
You were a star pupil. You hated school. Everything was so easy for you and so hard for everyone else. You sailed through everything. A 13-year-old with a guilt complex because everything was so easy.
Guilt? I wouldn't have known what it was at 13, would I?
So everything was easy. But you couldn't get it to add up.
Add up to what?
Add up to life, Tom. With your talents, you could have done anything.
Oh, come on, Gerald, get off.
Really? You should have gone to university and been something.
What do you mean, being something?
Tom, you're fooling around at the butt end of society with people who can't get it to work. You had a first-class mind. I put a lot of effort into you. You've forgotten.
No, I haven't. I haven't forgotten.
Once in every 5 years or so, you get a star pupil. I gave you extra lessons, extra attention, extra encouragement, extra help. For what? When I was a lad, I was a star pupil. And I wasted my opportunities, exactly like you've wasted yours. And that angers me, because I should have stopped you doing it.
Hello?
Hello, sweetheart. How are things?
Fine, thanks. How's Mary?
Still unconscious. The doctor says it's still touch and go.
What about your dad?
That's good.
And how are you?
Thoughtful. The natives haven't been too friendly.
Thoughtful about what?
Ah, Jean, I've got to make my mind up about this course in Dover. I've got to make the decision while I'm up here.
Okay.
I mean, it's really down to what the hell I'm going to do with my life, Britley's where it all started for me.
Okay. Well, you know, whatever you decide, I'll go along with it.
Ah, but whatever I decide... My dad's just come in. I better ring off, love.
Shall I have a word with him?
No, I don't think that's a good idea. He's not in the mood for talking to anybody. But I'll phone you tomorrow. God bless. How is she, Dad?
Well, the doctor seems a bit more confident.
Good.
Certainly her colour's better. He might be coming round, but he says not to get too excited about it.
Do you want a drink? Cup of tea?
No, no, Tom.
You want to talk?
No. Now she's shown an improvement, I think I might be able to get a good night's rest. I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, good night, Dad.
Oh, by the way, I met your old girlfriend, Nikki.
Taylor?
Aye. Placed here in town. Says she might give you a ring in the morning.
Oh, dear. Hello?
Tom?
Yes?
Nicky?
Hello?
How are you?
All right.
Doing anything for lunch?
No?
Could we meet?
Now look, Nicky, I don't know if...
You don't know what?
Well, I'm up here to see my dad, actually, not really to socialise.
Socialise? I only want to get a look at you.
Look, I'm a happily married man, Nicky.
It doesn't sound like you, Tom Darby, hiding behind a woman's skirts.
All right, well, I'll meet you the Three Horseshoes, all right?
Right, say 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Nicky,
Hello, Tom.
what would you like to drink?
A gin and tonic, please.
Gin and tonic. Thank you. Oh. Oh, you're looking good.
It's years since I've last seen you. You've aged.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean, you've always had craggy good looks, but I think you're taking it a stage too far. More crags, less looks.
Once again. How much is that?
65 pence, please.
Sure, thank you.
Yep.
Well, we should sit down.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a long time, Tom.
So what have you been up to?
What, your dad's never told you?
No.
He's never mentioned me.
No?
Well, I see him around, I talk to him.
Well, he's never said.
Well, I got married and I got divorced, almost in the same breath. I'm living with an old mate of yours, George Beale. He's got his own garage now.
Georgie Beale? Hey, how is he?
First, ask how I am.
All right.
I still miss you. Still in love with you. I sometimes wonder how on earth I let you out of my clutches. To marry a policewoman? I mean, if it wasn't so tragic, it'd be a laugh. Apart from that, I'm okay.
Good.
This morning on the telephone, I got the impression you didn't want to see me. Why?
Well, you know how it is. I mean, Hartley's only 70 miles from here. Somebody walks into this nice little cosy pub and sees us and, well, somehow word gets back to Jean, doesn't it?
I just don't see it. Tom Darby, completely under a woman's thumb. What a shame.
No, not under the thumb. I just care very much about my wife and her feelings. Not so insensitive to know that feelings can be hurt very easily.
Good for you. There aren't many champions of marital propriety around these days. She's a lucky girl.
So why did you want to see me then?
Oh, chat, talk, gossip. You know, we haven't completely forgotten your existence, Tom. Quite a few folk around here still remember you.
But what do you really want, Nicky?
Well, I always felt you left in rather a hurry. Not an indecent hurry, but, well, I never really got the chance to talk things over with you before you were gone. I suppose I've been thinking about what I would have said over these years.
Oh, go on.
No, it's nothing, really. Though I do blame you sometimes.
Blame me for what?
For why I got married. Well, it was on the rebound from you. And I can blame you for getting divorced. Because him and me, well, we were never going to be like us. You know and I know. It would have worked. Us married.
I don't know.
So, you've ended up in the back end of nowhere, married to a uniform. Hartley? Wasn't it supposed to be New York or Paris?
No, it wasn't. I never said anything about New York or Paris in my life.
I want to give you something. I came across them the other day. You know, I kept every letter anybody ever wrote me. Well, here's a few you wrote when you left Britley. They're all about you, your ambitions, what they were, what you wanted to be. They make interesting reading.
How is she? Oh, progress, we think. She came round, she spoke a little. Fingers crossed time. Afraid I can't be more specific. But it's always in the lap of the gods. Now, Tom, I'm a bit concerned about your father.
Me too.
I gave him some pills, like tranquilizers, but he says he won't take them. Perhaps you can put a bit of pressure on him, eh?
Right. How is it done?
Oh, she said a few words. I told her you were here. She seemed pleased. Got a bit of colour, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, don't feel you have to hang around.
The doctor says you ought to take a pill and get some
Oh,
relaxation.
well, that's just them, ain't it? Doctors, pill for this, pill for that. I don't need that pills.
Yeah, well, I can sit with it, you know.
No. No, it's my job to be here with her. Take no umbrage, I prefer to do it alone.
Right, well, I'll go back to the house then.
Oh, Jared called by. He left a message. He said to tell you to see on the bridge about 4:15.
Oh, yeah. I'll see you later.
Thanks for coming. Just wanted to chat.
Well, it's a bit early for pubs. Do you feel like a breath of air?
Tall lake.
Sure, lake it is.
You know, I used to fish here. Cycle up every weekend. Get away from the house for a bit. Fish and fantasize. I was going to be the greatest racing driver in the world. Mike Hawthorne, eat your heart out. It's amazing how long that fantasy lasted. I was 16 or 17.
Oh, aye.
I was resisting your advice even then. You were preaching, get your O levels, get your A levels. I'd be thinking quietly, what's the point? Next stop, Spa, Le Mans. I've always had this quiet little voice inside me, always resisting advice. Bloody nuisance. I'm actually looking for advice, it's still there, chuntering away. Dad called me and told me Mary was ill. One of the first things I thought was, well, when I get up there, at least I'll be able to see you.
Oh, aye.
You're the biggest influence in my life, Gerald. There was one thing I really wanted to talk to you about.
Always ready to listen, Tom.
Well, I'm coming up 40. 12 months' experience as a social worker behind me, but I'm not qualified. I've got a chance to go to college in Dover for 2 years, get my certificate of qualification in social work, CQSW.
Yes?
Dover's 300 miles from Hartley. I'll be away from Jean for long periods. 300 miles is a bit far for a trip home at the weekend.
So?
I don't trust my capacity to make decisions anymore. In the past, I always made decisions, well, right or wrong. I approached them rationally. Now, reason says the future as a professional in the social services is crazy. Instinct says take it, go to Dover, get qualified. I don't know how to analyse that instinct. Don't know if I can trust it.
You really want my advice?
Yes.
The fact that you're talking about this in an emotional way says you're further along the road with your decision than just an instinct to do it. You're looking for you're looking for something more than just a qualification. You're looking for an answer to what is so far a highly disorganized existence.
Maybe.
More than maybe. And you're only halfway there when you make your decision. The rest is down to the single-mindedness to see it through. And on the basis of your track record so far, Tom, that's going to be your bigger problem.
Mr. Bentham?
Aye?
Inspector Darby.
But I can't break off work. We've got a big export order on, which is bloody rare enough. I've got to check this stock for cutting room.
Please go ahead.
On phone, you said it was David you wanted to talk about.
Yes.
So, what's on your mind?
We think very highly of David.
Oh, aye.
We think he has potential. He's good at his work. Or rather, was good at his work. Lately, something's happened, and he seems very preoccupied.
Any of this to do with me?
He's told me things aren't happy at home.
Oh, came gossiping to you about my home, did he?
You may not think I have a right to ask David questions about his home life, Mr. Bentham, but if his work is suffering as a result of some domestic crisis, then I must. Your stepson's told me there have been rows at home.
Has he?
He says he doesn't really understand what they're about, and he didn't think he'd be able to get to the bottom of them. I'm asking you if I can help.
There's nothing to be done, miss. I feel an outsider in my own home.
Could you explain what you mean by that, Mr. Bentham?
Are you interested in my point of view?
Yes.
I met and courted Mary Gallagher in Glasgow, a widow of 10 years' standing. And when I married her, I didn't realise that mother and son were inseparable. That where she went, he went. Do you understand that?
I know that David's father died when he was young. All his life he must have been very close to his mother.
It's all right when he's on shift. When he's home for the evening, I come home after a full day's work, and I want a quiet night with the wife. And the table's laid for 3, and he's sitting in front of my TV set. And him and his mother have already worked out what channels are to be watched that night. I feel an interloper, so I go out for a drink with my mates.
I sympathise with you, Mr. Bentham.
You do?
You've got a point. I think we shall both have to talk to David.
Hello?
Tom? Eric Maitland here.
Oh, hello, Doctor. I've been trying to get hold of you. I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. Your stepmother passed away half an hour ago.
There was nothing we could do. I'm very sorry.
Is my father there?
Yes.
Well, I'll be along right away, Doctor.
So sorry, Dad.
George. They'll want to take her away.
No, I'll be with her as long as I can. She opened her eyes, you know, I thought. And she just went.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Look, I don't want him getting morbid sitting there all day. I'll tell him he must go and have a cup of tea with you in the tea bar.
Yes, I know it is.
Well, you might fancy a cup of tea, Dad.
I'm well.
Can I get you a beer, Dad?
I've got to make the funeral arrangements. See Mr. Evans?
Now, look, I can do all that for you, Dad.
No, I do that for Mary. Not a stranger.
Oh. Well, that's it. I'm a stranger.
Well, aren't you?
Look, I think I've had about enough of this, Dad. I mean, it may not be the most appropriate time to have this out, but... Well, I can't find any moment when the barriers are down and we can communicate.
What do you want? I mean, you've already worked it out. I'm worth a Christmas card and a phone call on my birthday to check that I'm alive. I want an out from you. What do you want from me? You go your own way, whatever that may be. You know, I don't even know who the hell you are anymore.
Do you ever know, Dad?
All I do know is you didn't make much of your life. Fine brain, fine start in life, leading to note.
Now, can we just get this thing settled now, once for all? Now, come on, just once and for all. I'm going to say it, Dad. Well, ever since my mum died, you seem to have had it in for me. I've tried, God knows I've tried to get you to show some signs that you, well, just have any feeling for me. Everybody in Britain says what a great bloke you are. Generous and thoughtful for others, but you've never shown it to me.
You're a hard judge.
I'm sorry, Dad, no. No. Well, that's my problem. I'm a weak judge. Well, you say I've got this great intelligence. Have I? Well, Nicky Taylor gave me back some letters that I wrote years ago. They've all been wrong. I'm not a brilliant high hopes future captain of industry. I was an idiot. The only thing I wanted in life was a brand new Jaguar car.
Well, you certainly didn't get that.
No, I didn't. I bloody didn't, no. No, I'll tell you what I did get, though. I'll tell you how I used my intelligence. I used it to work out what I don't need, what I don't want. I don't want money, I don't want possessions, I don't want public approval. I think this society is so rotten, only a fool would spend a lifetime trying to make it, getting on. Well, I reject it. I'm after basic values. I love my wife. We try to make each other happy. This trip home has been very important to me, Dad. I always used to think I wasn't committed enough in my life, but talking to you and Gerald and Nicky, I realise I've made quite a bit of progress down the years. I'm very sorry about Mary. I just hope that one day there'll be some miracle and just get to understand each other just a bit better, Dad.
Come in.
You wanted to see me, Mum?
Oh, yes, David. Come in, sit down. I had a chat with your stepfather yesterday, over at the mill.
Did you, Mum?
I try not to be an interfering busybody, David. When there's something affecting your work here, I must look into it. Understood?
Yes, Mum.
Your stepfather says that when he comes home in an evening, your mother's laid the table for 3, you and she have decided the night's telly, he feels an outsider in his own home.
But it's my mother that wants all these things. She asked me to come down here. She insists on cooking for me, and she wants to watch telly with me.
Then I think you're going to have to be a bit more forceful, David, and make certain things clear to her. It's time to cut the apron strings and become independent. And she's got to learn not to be so dependent on you. You're neither of you being fair to this poor man. You've both of you got to give him a chance. All right?
Yeah.
Now, are you short of money, David?
No.
Well, why not start looking for a flat of your own? Make your own life. It's not an order, just forceful advice. All right?
Yes, Mum.
That's it. Off you go.
Thank you.
Oh, and David, practice your dance steps, go out and get a girlfriend, and enjoy life. And that is an order.
Thank you, Mum.
Have we got any garden shears, Dad?
In tool shed.
Right.
What do you want them for?
Well, it's no criticism of you, but, well, my mum's grave is a bit untidy. I thought I'd just clean it up a bit. All right.
Tom?
Yes, Dad?
Don't matter.
Right, well, I'll be about an hour, eh?
Good grief.
I've caught you at it.
You're here? How?
I'm going back on Wednesday for the funeral.
Is it right to leave you, Dad?
Yeah, it's all right. Seriously, friends are better for him than me.
Didn't work out.
No.
Depressed?
Bit. Well, at least I made up my mind about Dover. Going to apply for the job.
I'm glad. We'll make it work. We'll do it.
Sure?
Yes. Now, how about something to eat?
What have we got?
Not here, out. I'll get changed. I can be ready in 10 minutes. You get yourself unpacked.
Yes, yeah.
Come on, cheer up. Dover's the biggest decision you're going to make this decade. Let's be happy about it.
You're on.
Ready for off then, ma'am?
Most of this lot's for forwarding. I've put notes on one or two I'm not happy about. Will you see that they're fixed up? Don't think there is anything else, is there? Oh.
Nothing we can't deal with. You going away?
Week at home. Lazy weekend. Then I'm going to try my hand at decorating, would you believe?
Good luck, and you'll need it.
Now, are you listening to this, Joseph?
Yes, ma'am.
You will phone me only in the direst emergency. Apart from that, I don't want to hear from you or anyone else in any way about any matter connected with this wonderful police station. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Are you speaking at the Law Society dinner Wednesday?
Oh, I've got to get that speech together as well. Right, see you Monday week. Don't any of you get into mischief while I'm away. Oh, Joseph, you're on nights next week.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a note for you. Young Shelton, you know his wife's expecting. Well, they've arranged for her mother to come and stay with them, but she can't make it until Wednesday or Thursday. The note explains it all, but have arranged that he should work 3 area nights. See that that's fixed.
Yes, ma'am.
Cheers, then.
Have a good leave, ma'am. We'll look after the shop while you're away. No problems.
Come in.
Inspector Robinson?
Yes, sir. Welcome to division.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I take off your hat, sit down. We don't stand on ceremony out here. You'll find it a bit different from police college. Right. You're with us a week before you go off to this staff job, that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I won't be giving you a shift of your own. You'll act as relief. That way you'll give as many of the lads as possible the benefit of your experience.
I'd be delighted to act in a relief capacity, sir. Very interesting to take over an established regiment for a week.
Well, I want you to cover Hartley. The usual inspector, Inspector Darble, is on leave. It's a 24-hour cover station for the inspector, so there are no shifts involved. You know where Hartley is, do you?
Driven through it a couple of times, sir. Years ago.
Well, you can start straight away. Any problems, you just give me a ring.
That won't be necessary, sir.
Now, whether you think it's necessary or not, I expect to be kept informed about my subdivisions. I rely on my inspectors for that.
Oh, of course, sir.
Right, I'm off, love. See you about 6.
It will be 6. Phone me if you think it's going to be late. I won't stop to make dinner.
Now remember, just don't go mad. It's supposed to be your holidays. See you later.
Hello. Oh, hello, Mrs. Morsley. Yes, that's right. I'm having a few days off. Meals on Wheels. That's right. Of course I remember. I did offer to help out if you were stuck, yes. Tomorrow morning. And Wednesday. And Friday morning. Ah, but not Friday. Yes, I'll be glad to help out. No, it's quite all right. I've got nothing arranged. Fine, then. Yes, I'll come round tomorrow for you about 11:30. Don't mention it. No, I'm sure it'll be good for me to get out of the house. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Right, Charlie. Tuesday next then, 8 o'clock, that's fine. Look, don't bring that well-skipped pal of yours. Yeah, I know he's your right arm. But if he can't hold his drink, then bloody keep him away from it. How can I play snooker if I feel he's going to throw up all over the bays at any moment?
You.
Sir?
Terminate your call.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Gotta go, Charlie.
I'm Relief Inspector Robbins.
Oh, we've been expecting you, sir.
Name?
Sergeant Parrish.
That wasn't the truth, was it? Sergeant Parrish. You were not expecting me. If you had been expecting me, you would not have been using a police phone for what was clearly a private and disgusting conversation. So you are a liar, Sergeant. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Show me the inspector's office.
Yes, sir.
Wait.
Yes, sir. That's Inspector Darbley's basket, sir.
So I imagine, Sergeant. I've been posted here in the absence of your regular inspector. I shall be in charge for the next week, and I'm not impressed with what I've seen of you so far. To whom were you speaking on the phone?
Oh, I was just fixing up a snooker match with the ambulance drivers. Oh, we have a pretty close relationship on a small patch like this, sir.
Off-duty calls are not made in a working police station. Convey that to the rest of the staff.
Yes, sir.
I want the parade states and allocation of beats and areas at least half an hour before each parade. Also, let me have a map showing the car areas and beats. I have no use for this. Or for this. There will be no smoking by my staff anywhere in the police station in the public view. Pass that instruction to all staff. You may go. Send in the correspondence for my signature. Sergeant Parrish.
Yes, sir.
When I give an order, send in the correspondence for my signature, I expect a response. Either yes, sir, or no, sir. Now, which is it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. You may go.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Mrs. Craigan.
Could you give me a hand to get my ladder out of the shed, love? Well, it won't take you a minute, and it's your fault, because when my Jack heard that you were painting your house, he said, come on, you, get cracking. You make yourself useful like Mrs. Darbley next door, and see what's clogging up the downpipe. It's flooding the wall.
Right, Mrs. Craigan, lead the way.
Thanks, love. Sweet. Hey, have you done your deadheads yet?
No.
Right, now, it's in here. Come on in, and let's have a go.
Oh, yes.
Right, you take that end.
Yeah, I've got it.
You're
right.
Yuck, it's heavy, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Right, on we
You
go.
okay?
Hey, wait for me.
Sorry.
Right. And over. Ooh, go. Can you manage?
Yes, be careful.
Right, so can I. There we go.
If you put it down, that's right, I'll sit.
It's down.
Yes.
You lift it. Yep, that's it. Can you manage? Yep. Oh. Aye, we're up. Oh. Are you all right, love?
Yes, thanks.
Right, now come on, now let's get it nearer the end because it's up there, the blockages. There we go. Right.
Now, do you want me to go?
No, I'm right. Hold up the end, will
Yeah,
you?
yes, I've got it.
Right. Here we go. And Mrs. Darbley, there's something stuck down there. Oh, I think it's one of those darn kids' tennis balls. No, I can't shift it. Could you pop into my kitchen and get me one of my big spoons? I think that might do the trick.
All right, Mrs. Craigan. But take care.
Aye, I will.
Oh, my God. Oh, Mrs. Craigan. Love, are you all right? Wait a moment. It's all right, love, it's all right. Now, lie still, it's all right. I'm going to get the ambulance and some blankets, all right?
My leg.
Now, lie still, it's all
My leg
right.
is broke.
It's all right.
Sir. Right away, sir.
Enter. Ah, Sergeant. I have finished my examination of these papers. Tell me, are you familiar with Fowler's English usage?
No, sir, not really familiar, sir.
I think you should make yourself familiar, Sergeant. In fact, I'd like to hear by the end of the week that you've bought yourself the paperback edition of it. It's an invaluable guide to English grammar and the correct use of words. Many of those reports forwarded by you contain basic errors of grammar and phraseology. For example, it is totally incorrect for a police officer, or anyone else for that matter, to say, I was stood on the street corner. It is, I was standing on the street corner, and so on.
I think, sir, it's a question of background. Everybody round here says I was stood on the corner and the lads talk, speak the same way. With respect, sir, 4 standing orders say that supervising officers should not alter or reject reports because they do not agree with their phraseology, provided the meaning is clear. And I don't think you can fault any reports I forwarded on those grounds.
A supervising officer should take every opportunity to improve the standards of those supervised. And sloppy local dialects are to be deplored, particularly when used as an excuse for ignorance. Next, I shall wish to see all the property in our possession and check it against these records.
Find it satisfactory, sir?
Will I? I hope so. I'm going out to visit the patrols. When I return, have ready for me all your subdivisional records. Also, instruct CID for someone to be in that office at 1400 hours. I shall wish to examine their records also.
Wait, Mrs. Darbley.
Yes, love.
Now, you'll have to look after my Jack while I'm in hospital.
Well, you might be all right, love. You may just be badly bruised.
No, it's broken. I know it's broken. Now, you'll have to be my angel of mercy. Oh, I know you look after my Jack. It's a good job you're on holiday without to do.
I'm trying to decorate the front room, Mrs. Cregan.
You'll get my Jack his meals and do the shopping and pay for it, and I'll refund it to you when I'm feeling a bit better.
There's near 50 items on this list.
Well, it's a week's shopping. Oh, and everything from the co-op, if you please. Now, I mean that. Because my Jackie won't touch his gammon if it doesn't come from the co-op. You'll have to do it, love, because he has his gammon steak from the co-op every Monday. He never misses.
I'm trying to decorate the front room, Mrs. Cregan.
And his tea prompt at 6 o'clock. And he'll take no excuses, so don't you be getting him into trouble by making it late. Oh, and fry his gammon nice and slow, not crispy. And he likes his collie done to a mush. Oh, and it's Laundry Tuesday. You won't forget that, will you? And he likes greens at the weekend. You'll get me some of that.
What is it, George?
I'll tell you what it is. It's serious. His name's Robbins. Inspector Robbins. He's early 30s. Army background, I hear. Fresh out of the college and about 3 weeks outside experience.
Well?
He's arrived like a ton of bricks. I've never seen anything like it.
We've had a relief inspector before. God knows Inspector Darbley to us woman-haters was a bit of a problem until we tamed her.
Joe, this is different. This animal is out to get us. Now, I know. He wants me, certainly, and probably the old bloody lot of us on disciplinary proceedings by the end of the week.
You?
Yes, me.
You're not serious.
I am.
He can't put old bloody section on disciplinary proceedings.
He can. And he will. I don't mind myself. I actually mind for Inspector Darbley. When she comes back in a week and she finds maybe 3 or 4 of men facing disciplinary charges, it's a reflection on her.
Nobody'd do that.
He almost did it to Shelton this morning, and to me. And we're both on last warnings. He means it.
Have you telephoned Inspector Darbley about this?
Of course not. And I won't. And don't you either. Look, I've come up against people like this before. He just walked in here, he took against the place. And I know he's got it in his mind to sort me, or me in Shelton, or more before he goes. Now, before that actually happens, and it's too late to do anything about it, what are we going to do about him?
Mr. Lake?
I don't think we could approach Mr. Lake.
Well, let me meet the bloke first and then let me think about it.
Does that mean leave it to you to think about and nothing will be done, or what?
Let me tell you this. There's no bloody relief inspector going to come into this section and take action against decent coppers like us for not crossing T's and dotting I's.
Hello. Evening, Sarge. Did Inspector Darbley speak to you about duties this week?
You're down for 3 area tonight.
Oh, magic, Sarge, thanks. Should only be till Wednesday, then the mother's coming to stay.
Just the 3 nights, then. Let me know if there's any change.
I will do, Sarge.
You want to get a telephone, you know, they're much better than mother-in-laws. What's that about 3 area?
Shelton's wife's due any time. You know they live on the tops at the edge of town. It's pretty isolated up there and there's no telephone. If his wife's in trouble during the night, she'll switch on the front bedroom light. You can see the window from pretty well all over 3 area. If he sees the light on, he'll know things are happening. Good evening, sir. I'm Joe Beck. I'm night sergeant this week. I don't think we've met.
Sergeant Parrish, I've just been in the billiard room. It's a disgrace. Before the shift goes off duty, be sure it's tidied up. If we must have cards and dominoes played in there, I want everything put away and the ashtrays emptied before it's left. I shan't be at your briefing parade, but I shall be back later. Make sure that you and your men are on the ball.
There you are. What did I tell you?
Hello? Hello?
What's this mountain of shopping doing in the hall? Are we expecting your mother?
It's not ours, it's Mrs. Cregan's.
Well, you haven't done much.
Do you know what I've had to put up with today? Every 20 minutes an interruption. Mrs. Cregan fell off a ladder.
She did.
It's not funny. I had to get an ambulance for her, then do a week's shopping, then go visit her in hospital. She's only going to be there overnight, no bones broken, though God knows how. If you dropped that woman from the Empire State Building, she'd bounce. Anyway, she'll be back home tomorrow, and she says, to quote, she'll be asking me to run a few little errands for her. Oh, that's in between the time I should be doing the Meals on Wheels for Mrs. Maudsley. Oh, yes, then I had to cook her Jackie's gammon steak, and I think I burnt it. Anyway, he took one look at it and wouldn't eat it.
What is all this?
Day one of my holiday.
Well, sweetheart, you said you wanted to do it. You said it'd be therapeutic, relaxing.
All right.
Now, look, all I want is some nosh, some ale, and my feet up. I've been 5 hours in the old folks' home, listening to nothing but complaints, complaints, complaints. I don't want any more when I get home, do I?
All right. There's the shepherd's pie warming up in the oven.
What have you eaten?
Yeah, I've eaten.
Well, I'll give you some help with the painting after.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, is that new plastic paint you're using?
Yeah.
That's good still.
OK. I've just spent the last half hour with him. He's been checking the stationery cupboard. He's had me counting the envelopes. He's a nut, all right.
So what do you suggest?
We're going to think.
Yeah, well, I've done a bit of that myself. Now, I reckon the only thing we can do is to be so on the ball he can't do us for anything.
And that is the wrong approach.
So what's the right one?
Listen. In my long experience...
Here we go. Nowhere.
In my many years, I've learnt certain things. And one of them is there's always a reason why a bloke goes around behaving like a martinet, bawling out the odds, trying to make himself out bigger and better than anybody else. There's always a reason. And the reason is very often a weakness. Like he's a closet alcoholic. Or he likes ladies' clothes. And when you can find that out, you've got him. Wally, it's Joe Beck. Yes, I know the time. I expect you've just gone to bed. Now, quiet and listen. Personal records at headquarters, that's down to you, Wal. Listen, comrade. I've got a bit of a problem that I need your personal and confidential help with.
Laundry at 2 o'clock, Mrs. Darbley. Don't forget.
No, Mrs. Cregan.
And you'll have to let the doctor in at 2.
You said that.
Well, don't forget.
No, Mrs. Cregan.
Oh, and milk for the cat.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd first like to thank you sincerely for inviting me to speak to you tonight. Be with you tonight. Speak before you tonight. Which gives me the opportunity to a serving law officer to say some words on a subject of importance to me and importance to my work. The subject of the Children and Young Persons Act, 1969. Now, I don't believe this.
Morning, Mum.
Hello, George. What brings you here?
Some expenses for you. Just thought as I was passing, I'd drop them in.
That's very kind of you, George.
Pleasure, Mum.
Thanks.
How's the decorating going?
Slowly.
Always the way, Mum.
Better come in, George. See if you approve of my do-it-yourself efforts.
Thank you, Mum.
There, what do you think of that?
Oh, it's very nice, Mum. You're nearly finished.
I've painted one wall, George. The object of the exercise is to paint the remaining 3.
Oh, I see. Oh, I thought, yes, well,
What's the matter, George? Is everything okay?
of course, Mum.
Oh, come off it. You didn't drop in here just to pay me my expenses and admire the paintwork. What's the trouble?
Well, Mum, this relief inspector, Robbins, he's upsetting things a bit.
Upsetting things?
Well, he's giving me and Joe Beck a bit of pain and chasing the lads rotten. It's difficult, you know. I mean, we sympathise with the lads, but we can't let them see it or things will really get out of hand. If he goes on, one of the lads is really going to step out of line. They'll only stand so much.
What is all this?
I hear there's a move afoot for the lads to send a deputation to Mr. Lake.
Now, you put a stop to that.
Well, you know what a close lot they are here. You kick one and they all limp. See, this Robbins...
You mean Inspector Robbins?
Yes, Mum. Sorry, Inspector Robbins. He's totally unreasonable, supercilious and nitpicking. Now, I'm just worried you're going to come back and find maybe 2 or 3 of us facing disciplinary proceedings.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm not, Mum. And I'm just worried that Joe Beck is going to overstep the mark, because he's up to something with regard to this Robbins, and I don't know what it is.
I don't want to hear any of this. I rely on you 2 sergeants to run this section for me. You are the supervisors. Get some supervising done. Cope.
Yes, Mum. Sorry to have disturbed you.
That's perfectly all right, George. Oh, since you're here, perhaps you give me a hand to shift this lot out of the way.
I don't know, I've been going around making discreet and confidential inquiries on your part, and on top of that, why am I buying you a drink?
Consolation, Wally. For not coming up with much more than I could have found out for myself.
Oh, now, you didn't expect me to secrete Maurice Albert Robbins' personal file out the records under my Max so you could slop beer all over it?
Hardly.
And I don't want to get back to the personnel department. Any crumb of information you might obtain came from a discreet headquarters sergeant like me.
You must have changed. All right, what have we got so far? What about school? Where did he go?
St Mark's, Oldham. He left with 3 O-levels.
Only 3?
Well, how many have you got?
I don't put on airs and graces, Wally. 3 O-levels, and he tells George Parrish to buy some grammar book.
Well, he would, wouldn't he? I mean, he's been so wrapped up in admin and training, he's forgotten what a real policeman does.
Yeah. I wish he hadn't been parked on us as a reminder. What about his army service?
5 years, South Yorkshire Regiment, ranked full sergeant.
What's the turn-up?
Oh, what's wrong?
What's wrong? His bloody airs and graces again. You'd expect him to be a short-term commissioned officer, not some loudmouth sergeant.
So?
Oh, I don't know. You're not helping me, Wally. What about his army record?
Look, I keep telling you, and you've just got to get used to the fact Inspector Robbins is as pure as the driven snow. Even if he does get up my nose.
What about his army record?
Look, he wouldn't have gone into the force, would he, if there was anything to show that was against him? Oh, hang on, though. I just had a thought.
What?
Well, when a chap's discharged from the army, he's given a character rating, you know, exemplary, very good, good, etc.
So?
Well, when your Inspector Robbins was discharged, he was only described as very good.
Oh, go on.
Well, if he was so flaming marvellous, why wasn't he rated exemplary?
He may have something there. I'll have a word with Eddie Cullen. He's an old soldier. Perhaps he knows somebody in the South Yorkshire Regiment who can tell me about Maurice Albert Robbins.
Enter.
You wanted to see me, sir?
Yes, Sergeant. I've been checking the parade states and disposition sheets. You'll see I've made some changes. I notice this is the third night in succession that Police Constable Shelton has been allocated 3 area. Now, you know, Sergeant, or you ought to know, that it's bad policing and bad supervision to put the same man on the same area repeatedly. It can lead to slackness, or even worse. I've transferred Shelton to foot patrol in the town centre.
About Shelton, sir, I don't know whether you know, but his wife's expecting a baby and it's due any minute now, and Inspector Darbley left instructions...
Inspector Darbley is on leave. I'm in charge of this station. You will follow my instructions without question or argument. Is that clear? Constable Shelton will patrol the town centre on foot. That is all, Sergeant.
Yes, sir. 7189.
Sarge?
You're on 2 and 3 areas. I'll give you a call later. There's a couple of pubs up there due a visit at closing time. I'll arrange a meet with you. And keep an eye on that vulnerable property on the edge of 3 area. Any lights or unusual activity, give us a call. You know the drill.
Sarge, I'll keep an eye on it.
Anything else, sir?
No. I'll fall them out.
Right, fall out. Thought that bit about your missus as a vulnerable property on the edge of 3 area was quite bloody brilliant.
Much appreciated, Sarge.
Spread the word. I don't want anybody getting into trouble tonight because I've got to slip away on a personal matter to do with all our futures, and I don't want the balloon going up and me found missing.
Seriously, this is a problem which we all face, ladies and gentlemen. I would ask you to make the strongest representations through your various professional associations to have this bad law changed. I hope, Mr. President, that I haven't abused your hospitality by riding this particular hobby horse on this occasion, but then it's not often we women have a chance to make ourselves heard. May I say again, thank you for inviting us to join your society's annual dinner. The Hartley Law Society has every reason to be proud of the professional standards maintained by its members. I commend you all for this, and thank you.
Well done.
What's up then?
The light's gone on in your house. Come on, get in.
I'll have to be back in case Mr. Robbins comes checking.
Yeah, come on, get in. Called an ambulance.
I hope everything's okay, Roland. If we run into any of the bosses, we're right up the creek.
Hartley to 7189.
You're stuck with me now. Answer the man.
7189 to Hartley.
7189. Go to the co-op on Ridgeway Road. Mrs. Dodsworthy of 79 The Rise thinks she saw a torch flashing in the shop. Investigate and report.
Will do, Sarge. 7189 out.
What do we do, Jack? Only two. You sure? Yes. What are we gonna do? Keep bloody quiet and hope no scar. They won't do that. Over here. What about the front of the shop, eh? I told you. Front door's deadlocked. I checked it yesterday. Then we're bloody trapped, aren't we?
2 against 2. You've got to be joking.
Oh, no, come on, Jack.
This is the police. Stay right where you are.
Oh, yeah! All right. Jesus.
Recognise these two, do you?
Richard's brothers.
Aye, well known and well wanted.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. What did you think of it?
Oh, really enjoyed it.
So did I.
Yes, your man will be proud of you. Quite some achievement.
What's that?
Well, from raw recruit years ago to lecturing the lawyers of the Hartley Law Society on what's what.
Don't you say how many years ago I'll hit you with my handbag.
Yes, love.
Oh, thanks. And George Parish. Letting me know young Shelton's wife's been rushed to hospital. The baby's on its way.
Ah.
Do you mind, Tom?
What, home by way of the office?
You read me like a book. Joseph should be on tonight. What's George Parish doing on duty?
Right, thanks. CID on their way. What a good do. The brothers know they're banged to rights, and now one of our heroes here is about to produce another example of his virility and aggression. Yes? Hartley Cottage Hospital. Hang on. It's for you, lad.
Constable Ian Shelton speaking. I see. Well, thank you very much. Is she okay? Yeah. Will you please give her my love? Got a son.
Oh, John, congratulations. Is she all right? Did they say how much she weighed?
Excuse me, I'm a bit overcome. I'd like to go somewhere private. Do you mind?
No, of course not. Go on.
Hey up. I want to be alone, eh? Well, he's a dad. I know how he feels. It'll be like winning the pools tonight and losing the cheque tomorrow.
I think that's how cute a girl.
Cheerio, everybody.
Terrific job getting the Richards brothers top marks. Good night, George.
Good night, Mum. Night, Tom. Good night.
Good night, Mum. Night, Mr. Dudley. Good night.
Keep up the good work, Roland.
Right, let's get on with this report then.
What about Shelton?
Oh, give him half an hour with his thoughts. There is a time when a man needs to be alone with himself.
Shelton, the man.
We arrived at the Ridgeway Road premises of the Hartley Cooperative. We made our way round to the rear entrance.
Where's Constable Shelton?
Locker room, sir. He's just learned by phone that he's the father of a baby boy. And I'm pleased to inform you, sir, that Bentley here and Shelton have caught a well-known pair of local villains.
Bentley, I'm taking disciplinary proceedings against you and Police Constable Shelton for deliberately absenting yourself from your beats. A most serious infringement of orders which I personally witnessed.
If I may say in their defence, sir,
Bentley, find Shelton and report to my office immediately.
Yes, sir.
And why are you on duty? Where is Sergeant Beck?
He phoned me to come in and cover. He has to deal with a very unexpected and urgent family matter, sir.
So you're a mate of Eddie Cullen's, then?
Yeah.
How is he now?
Well, he's just bought his second shop, so he must be doing well.
Bright lad.
He's a nice man.
Eddie was saying you were inquiring about a certain Sergeant Robbins.
Yeah.
Well, you come to the right bloke. Because I've heard of him all right. He's well known in the folklore of the South Yorkshires.
Morris Albert Robbins.
That's the one. I've checked. But I remember the Robbins story.
What Robbins story?
Sergeant Robbins was with us for about 5 years, left 6 years ago. God, he was a right tartar. There's lots of squaddies who still remember him, will always remember him.
Remember what?
Well, he was a right disciplinarian. Played everything by the book, never put a foot out of line. But was never really one of the lads, though. And then literally, 2 days before his demob, he goes to this party, gets blind drunk, and ends up fast asleep, flat on his back on a pedestrian crossing on the Barnsley Road. And when the MPs came for him, he had a right old scrap with them and nearly laid one of them out.
He did that?
There are a lot of blokes who are highly delighted by that little escapade, I can tell you.
I'm quite pleased to hear about it myself.
Enter.
Morning, sir.
Ah, Sergeant Beck.
A word with you, sir.
Concerning your unexpected absence from duty last night, I presume.
I hear that you are considering disciplinary proceedings against Constable Shelton and Bentley, and that you intend to put these into effect this morning.
What business is that of yours?
Shelton had his first child last night, sir.
So I understand.
And they also caught the Richards brothers.
Yes, I'm aware of that, Sergeant.
I wish to make a plea on their behalf before you take official action against them.
You're wasting your time, Sergeant. And mine. You may go.
No, sir, you will hear me out.
Are you disobeying my order?
Yes, sir. We all make mistakes from time to time in our lives, sir. To err is human.
Leave this office.
I was only hearing last night the story of a sergeant in the South Yorkshire Regiment who had an exemplary army career until 2 days before his demob, when, uncharacteristically, he got very drunk and lay down on a pedestrian crossing and then gave aggro to some MPs who came to collect him. It was a story told to me in confidence, and of course will go no further round the force. I think on reflection, Inspector, these are very young men, and you should be able to see your way clear to letting them off with a verbal warning. I think that would be the wisest course, don't you agree, sir?
Tell them to report to me at 1100 hours.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. A most rewarding week at Hartley. Of course, one has to adapt to a semi-rural situation. The staff are very sound. The younger men particularly impressed me with their keenness and reliability. Of course, I tightened 1 or 2 things up. Not that Inspector Darbley had let things go, but, well, you know how it is, sir. We men do it differently.
Differently doesn't always mean better. From what I hear, you haven't created a very good impression this last week, either in man management or tact. You've a long way to go in the service, Morris. If you take my advice, you'll unbend a bit. If you don't, you've got a long, hard, and lonely road ahead of you. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Tom?
Finish?
Yeah. Mind the door, it's still wet.
Yes. Terrific job. What about the ceiling?
What about it?
Well, aren't you going to paint it?
I have painted 4 walls, not to mention the woodwork, while the world collapsed in chaos around me, and that is it. That is the end of do-it-yourself for me forever.
Well, I would have thought it was more logical to paint the ceiling before the walls. And the paint from the ceiling is going to drip onto your newly painted walls, isn't it?
Why didn't you mention that before?
It didn't sort of look as if it needed doing before, did it?
I don't care.
What do you mean you don't care?
I phoned Joseph Beck's pal, John Oakley, carpenter, decorator. He came round, he looked upstairs, he starts Monday.
Oh, yes. What's he going to charge?
£75 a room, excluding paint, and after what I've been through, that's cheap.
Oh.
It's the weekend. I've got 48 hours of leave left. Take me to Blackpool.
I hate Blackpool.
What do you mean you hate Blackpool? I hate Blackpool, but compared to what I've been through in the past 5 days, Blackpool is suddenly heaven. Right?
All right.
Right. You pack your toothbrush, I'll phone a hotel. Now.
Yes, Inspector.
Bill.
This is a surprise.
I wasn't sure if I could remember which house. It's you and your mother still, is it?
Yes. Well, actually, she's away in Canada at the moment with me brother and his wife, being a proud grandparent. Sit down, won't you, Tom?
So, how are you getting on then, Mary?
Oh, you know, not too bad. Would you like a cup of tea?
No, it's all right, thanks.
So, how about you? How are you getting on?
Well, not too good just now. I've had a shock this morning.
Look, I'll put the kettle on. I'll make a cup of tea. Unless you'd sooner have coffee.
Well, not if it's too much trouble.
No, no trouble at all.
Registered owners, Trustee Car Hire, back Victoria Terrace, Hartley. Any mobile in that vicinity, please?
Sergeant Parish to Hartley. Just round the corner, Joe. I'll attend.
I'm sorry coming round to someone you hardly know. It's a bit much, isn't it?
Well, I'm still one of the family. Still a bit, I suppose. Even if I haven't seen that many of Michael's mates for nearly a year or so now. You were one of his coffin bearers at the funeral, weren't you?
Yes, Michael and I had some good times together.
Were you with him when he got killed?
No. They're looking after you all right, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, the army usually does, you know. And I'm all right for now, living here with me mum. But you didn't come round here to talk about me, did you?
Last Friday, I left Jean. I said that was it. It hasn't worked. I was going back to the barracks. I actually went to my mother's for a few days. Until today. I knew Lindy was starting back at nursery school today. So I went to the house. I thought perhaps if I saw Jean taking her to school, then somehow we might talk. Only it wasn't Jean taking her to school.
A neighbour?
A man. A man she had living with her again as soon as she thought I was out of the way.
Again, now, come on, you can't be certain of that,
Well, it
can you?
wouldn't be the first time. And anyway, this time I was home, there were clothes, things around. I don't know what to do. I only know I can't leave Lindy living there with another man.
Michael and I, we never had any children. Perhaps that made it easier some ways. When he was away, I usually came here and stayed with me mum. They say Donovans are about the best solicitors. Why don't you go and see them and get some advice?
Well, you see, I can't.
Why not?
I'm absent. Absent without leave.
Oh, Tom.
I was due back in the barracks last Friday. Well, they'll be looking for me already. That's why I couldn't stop at my mother's any longer. And I did something else stupid. I hired a car under a false name and had an accident.
Oh, good morning. Could I speak to Major Garwood, please? Oh, I see. Well, is there anyone else I could speak to? This is Inspector Longton of Hartley Police. Thank you. Oh, good morning. I had a message to ring a Major Garwood, but I understand he's not in barracks this morning. Would it be by any chance a Major Alan Garwood? Oh, well, tell him I called. My name is Inspector Kate Longton. Thank you. Do you know what he wanted to speak to me about? Or should I ring back? Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
Yes, Mum. Yes, Mum.
Oh, any news on the White Fiesta, Sarge?
It's a hire car rented to someone in Penningley. I put Glyn on it.
Oh, I'll be lucky if we hear something by Christmas, then.
Come in. Army absentee. 5 days overdue back from leave from 3rd Battalion Royal Northamptonshire's at Scorley Barracks. Could you send Brian and Danny to pick him up?
It's a bit unusual.
What is?
3762493 Corporal Thomas Harold Warren. It's generally privates that go AWOL, not NCOs. You can't even rely on the army nowadays. It's only us holding together the frail fabric of society now.
Tom, you're asking me, someone on an army widow's pension, you're asking me to shelter a deserter, and
I'm
on
not
top
a
of that-
deserter. I'm an absentee. A deserter is someone who's no intention of going back. I am going back, but I need a few days. I have to get Lindy away.
Tom, I'd like to help you. I know you were one of Michael's good mates. You were all good to me when he died. You were with him in Belfast, weren't you?
Yes.
Were you at the riot in Ardoyne Street?
We were together in the same platoon, yes.
Look, I've not met Lindy, and I wouldn't want to do anything to hurt a child.
But would I hurt my own daughter? I only need a couple of days.
Are you 3762493, Corporal Thomas Harold Warren?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, we have reason to believe you are.
Well, who are you, then? Look, come on, don't drag it out. What's the name?
He's not my husband.
All right, then. Who are you?
Don't tell him it's no business of his.
If you want my husband, he's at Scooley Barracks, Northamptonshire. He went back at the end of his leave last Friday.
Well, that's just what he didn't do.
What?
And you say last Friday was definitely the last time you saw him, was it?
How many more times? Yes.
Look, mate, why don't you just leave her alone?
But if he's not in barracks, you've no idea at all where he might have gone.
No, I told you I thought he'd gone back to Scooley.
Do us a favour, leave us alone, will you?
And I'd like to see some form of identification of you, mate.
Don't show him any. This is my house. He doesn't have to.
Do you want to bet, love?
Or would you prefer to come down to the station with us? We'll sort something out there.
All right, tell him. Show him something. It's almost time to fetch Lindy.
Yes? No, that's all in hand, sir. I've got no worries about it. No, nothing else, thank you, sir. Bye. Yes, Joe?
I thought I'd come in and have a word rather than say it over the phone in front of him. There's a company Sergeant Major Lofthouse at the desk asking to see the gaffer.
What's it to do with?
I don't know exactly, but he's with the 3rd Battalion, the Royal Northamptonshire Regiment, which, if I remember correctly,
It's where the soldier that we're supposed to pick up is absent from.
Thought you might well like a word, ma'am.
I certainly would. Can you ask him to come in?
Would you come this way, please?
How do you do?
Company Sergeant Major Bernard Lofthouse, ma'am. B Company, 3rd Battalion, Royal Northamptonshire Regiment.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you, ma'am.
You live here in Hartley, Sergeant Major?
No, ma'am. I'm a Northamptonshire man. I'm on leave for a couple of days. I've come over to Hartley to do some business.
What sort of business?
Well, regimental business, ma'am. See 1 or 2 people and so on.
Some of it wouldn't have any connection with the Corporal Warren, would it?
Well, possibly, ma'am.
Sergeant Major, let's put our cards on the table. We know that Corporal Warren has gone AWOL for 5 days, and we've been asked to pick him up.
I was hoping to make contact with him, ma'am.
And you think if we'd already picked him up, I'd probably tell you. Well, Sergeant Beck, the Army absentee. Have Sparks and Kelleher reported in on him yet? I see. Right, thanks. Nope, they're still at his house. He's probably popped out or something. They'll be waiting for him. So, I put my cards on the table. How about yours?
Well, I've only one, ma'am. A request of you. Ask your men not to wait. Withdraw them and give me a couple of hours to go there and have a chat with him when he gets back instead.
That would be most irregular.
Well, it'd save police time if he took himself back. It'd look better on his records.
You could persuade him.
Well, I know him pretty well, ma'am. I'm his company sergeant major. One of my best corporals, to tell you the truth, but, well, he's going through what we call a bit of domestic turbulence.
What will happen to him if you get him back?
Well, that's not for me to say, ma'am. That's a matter of his company commander.
And that's Major Garwood.
Well, yes, ma'am. Do you know him?
I did once, a long time ago. How is he these days?
Oh, very well, ma'am. And if I may say so, a very fine soldier. Well, can be a bit of a bastard sometimes, pardon the expression.
Excuse me. Yes? Right. Thank you, Joe. The officers that went to your corporal's home have just rung in. Apparently his wife said goodbye to him as usual last Friday, but she's no idea where he is now. They're not waiting there. They're on their way back.
Oh, well, thank you for that information, ma'am.
Excuse me. Yes? Uh-huh. Yeah? Yes, I'm free.
Thank you once again, ma'am. I'll not take up any more of your time.
Sergeant Major, I wouldn't be doing my duty if I didn't ask you. Do you have any idea where he might be?
None, ma'am. None whatsoever.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Morning.
Morning, sir. Ma'am.
Blimey.
What?
So that's how they make sergeant majors these days.
How did you know he was a sergeant major?
Now, how do you think? I asked Joe Beck.
Well, certainly got you summed up, hadn't he? Morning, sir.
Oh, natural air of authority.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sore throat. How's that?
Fine, thank you.
Hey, I care.
I know.
As a matter of fact, I only popped in for a minute on the way to court. I was wondering about tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Evening.
Tomorrow evening. What about it?
Exactly. You took the very words right out of my mouth. Tomorrow evening, what about it?
I'm so sorry. Am I missing something?
Oh, you could very well be, yes.
Look, with respect, I really do have a sore throat, and now I can feel a headache coming on.
A meal. Tomorrow evening. How about it?
Can I ask you something? What birth sign are you?
Me? Cancer.
Yeah, I might have known. Approaching things sideways.
Really? Is that what we do? No, I've always been absolutely straightforward and direct. What's the answer?
What, dinner tomorrow night? Yeah, thank you.
Fine. 7:30?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Can we make it another night? I've agreed to go on the sports committee. It's the first one, and I really ought to be there.
Okay. Night after?
Uh-uh.
Night after that, I shall be in London at the conference. Next year sometime?
I'm sorry. Let's get together when you get back and fix something then. I'm sure you'll know from your spies which nights I'm free, anyway.
Greaves, see ya.
As soon as she saw the river of porridge oozing through the streets, she knew just what to do. She ran home as fast as she could through the sticky porridge. When she came to the house, her mother was still shouting at the pot. Stop cooking! Stop bubbling! Stop! Stop!
See how much of our lunch we've eaten? Nearly every scrap. Isn't that good, eh?
Yes, it is.
Little pot, stop, said the girl. Those were the magic words.
When it comes to sending 2 men out on a car ride to catch him, oh, yes, that's no trouble. You can do that. But if it's a case of kidnapping my daughter and running off with her, that's different. You're just sitting there doing nothing and letting it happen.
Mrs. Warren, we are not doing nothing. We're doing our best.
What are you doing? Tell me one thing.
Mrs. Warren.
They could be anywhere. France, America, anywhere in the world, couldn't they?
Mrs. Warren, believe me, I know how difficult it is for you, but it is no good to me at all just standing there shouting at me. Could you sit down for a moment? Now, the nursery schools say her father collected her at 11:30. Well, they had no reason to try and prevent him. After all, he was her father, known to her and known to them. But you say that when they told you, your first thought was he'd gone straight round to his mother's.
I'd only just learned half an hour before from your men that he'd not gone back to barracks.
Yes, so he went straight round to his mother's. Now, she says that although he had been there, she's no idea where he is now.
She's an ordinary, simple old lady. She'd be no good as a liar. I knew she wasn't covering anything up.
And you really can't think of anywhere else he might have gone?
No, I can't.
Well, there's only one thing you can do. Wait and see what happens, for today at least. We'll circulate a description, of course.
And in the meantime, just let him wander around with her.
Yes, that's what he's doing. A father's entitled to take his own child.
I don't believe this.
As far as we know, no offence has been committed where your domestic situation is concerned. Though, of course, we would want to satisfy ourselves that the child is safe.
Oh, you would? Well, thanks. Thanks for nothing.
She's gone off without any trouble. She's fine.
Tom, telephone your wife. Let her know she's safe. Or at least let me.
Mary, you don't know Jean. Just let me do it my way, will you?
Tom, this can't go on.
It won't. I've a sister in London. Perhaps I'll take her there. I'll have to give her a ring first, though.
Well, the phone's there.
Yes.
Tom, please do it tonight. Will you be all right there?
Yes, that's fine. Thanks, Mary.
Well, help yourself to a drink or anything you want, won't you?
Mary? Thanks.
Hello. Oh, hello. Kate Longton. Of course, yes. Sorry, I don't get here very often.
Mary,
Isn't it? Mary Marshall. Have you hurt yourself?
Yeah.
Broken it, I think. I usually get it just here afterwards.
Oh, well, good soak in a hot bath and an early night should do the trick. It's nice to see you again. Enjoy your game. See you next week.
Kate?
Bye.
After all that, it was a false name and address.
Yeah.
How can you get away with hiring a car like that? Didn't they check the driving licence?
Apparently not. Back pocket job, I should think.
They deserve all they get then.
Trusty car hire, slightly dodgy. Let's keep it on file.
Morning, George.
Morning, Mum.
Oh, well.
Yes, thank you, Mum.
In my office, George, when you've got a few minutes.
Right. Come on. Where is it?
What?
The overtime return. This looks like a very good day to get it all okay.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
They tell me the going rate for that's 20 pence.
20 pence?
Inflation.
Hartley Police Station.
Hey, buzz off.
Yes, sir.
My bike's been stolen.
Hard luck. Tell him.
Okay.
Thank you, Mum. Oh, by the way, any news about the absentee soldier?
No, nothing. Apart from him making off with his daughter to get her away from his wife and the resident boyfriend.
That's no offence.
No, I told her. Oh, well, we've got plenty to do. Let the army do a bit of its own running around for a change.
What, by the company's our major, Mum?
How did you know about that?
Oh, just casual conversation.
Marvellous, wasn't it? All you can do for today, she said, is wait and see. Well, now it's tomorrow, and I'm still waiting and seeing nothing. Oh, Bernie, you're his brother-in-law as well as his mate. Can't you think where he'd be?
Well, I checked his records before I left barracks. He's only next of kin we got to you and his mother. Well, look, if he's taking Lindy, obviously he's not going to go anywhere what do you think of, is he? Are you sure about his mother?
Oh, it's the first place I went. She knew nothing about it, I could tell. Anyway, he'd never have taken Lindy there. She's old, she's an invalid, she couldn't cope.
So, who else does he know?
He doesn't know anyone. We've only been here a year, and half of that he's been away. Canada on exercise, 6 weeks in Cyprus with the UN, 4 weeks in Germany. We've hardly been here at all.
No.
Bernie, I'd get lonely.
So does Maureen.
Oh, Maureen and you've got it worked out. She likes being a soldier's wife. Being married to the army, I can't do it. I don't like it.
Look, 10 minutes ago you said he wanted to try again. Go to Germany, you said. 4 years, we'll have our own quarters. Make a fresh start. Oh, yeah.
For Lindy's sake.
Look, G, I think we better go back to the police and report that Lindy's still missing.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Is Inspector Longton in by any chance? Does she have a spare moment or so?
I'll just see. What name shall I say, sir?
What absolute rubbish. What do they think we are, wooden tops or something? Yes? Who? Oh, yes, certainly, show him in. I mean, they've got another thing coming, haven't they? Oh, my good grief.
Inspector Longton?
Major Garwood. How nice to see you again, Ellen.
The pleasure's mutual.
I'm sorry. Do forgive me. Joe, this is an old friend of mine from my dim and distant past, Major Garwood. And this is one of my props and stays, Sergeant Beck.
Sergeant?
Major?
Do please sit down.
Shall I have 3 photocopies made, ma'am?
Yes, if you would, Joe. Oh, and do you think Danny could manage a pot of tea?
Yes, I should think so, without any difficulty, ma'am.
Sergeant?
I don't know what to say, except well.
Or how about well, well?
Right, son. On parade. Tea. In there, for 2. At the double.
I'll wash the mugs out first.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, oddly enough, I knew sometime I had to come and see a solicitor in the area to do with the will of an elderly aunt. So then yesterday, sending the phone message, and your reply reminded me of you, so I thought, why not drive over and make a day of it? And perhaps do some army business as well.
However many years is it?
18? Perhaps even 20. It must be, mustn't it?
It must. Gosh, I remember you when you were going to university. Liverpool, wasn't it?
Leeds.
Oh.
And I remember you when you went with the army to Gibraltar.
Hong Kong. Good Lord.
How sad we lost touch.
Mm. And your wife was... Oh, I'm sorry, I've forgotten her name. The Anderson family. No, I haven't. Melanie.
That's absolutely correct. What a memory. And you, are you...
No, because you never asked me.
And you mean all the other young men...
Oh, they were just interested in my sister. She was the pretty one. Do you remember?
No? Do you know, to be honest? No. But you, though, I didn't forget you.
Really? Why?
Or shall I be truthful?
Why not?
Because you were frightening. You were clever, and you were bossy.
Thank you. Well, let's think what I can remember about you.
I dread to imagine.
You were very intelligent, or so you seemed. You were shy, and you were rather a prig.
That's absolutely right. All those years ago, and you had me exactly summed up. And you were a snob.
I never was. Well, yeah, perhaps I was a bit. Anyway, it was my sister you were interested in, too. Not me.
Absolute rubbish. I don't remember a single thing about her. Well, only that she had auburn hair. Oh, yes, and blue eyes, and a little snub nose and freckles. I suppose she was quite pretty, yes.
You see, you were smitten like all the others. Tell me about you and Melanie, though. Do you have any children?
No. No, actually, we...
Excuse me. Yes? Yes. 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 No. All right, fine. Sorry. You were saying, you and Melanie.
Well, no, I wasn't, actually. Actually, I'm afraid it didn't work out. You need to be a certain kind of person to marry a soldier, or a certain kind of soldier to be a married one. So after 4 years, we divorced.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it happens quite a lot, doesn't it?
Come in. Oh, thank you, Donny.
Thank you very much, Constable. That's very kind.
Help yourself.
After you.
No, I don't, thanks. Excuse me. Yes? Well, I can't do anything about it now, Joe. Can you deal with it? Okay, fine.
I mustn't keep you.
No, really. Sometimes we're busy, sometimes we're not. That wasn't important.
Look, do you have time for lunch?
Oh, dear, no. Not today, I'm afraid. I have a meeting with some councillors at the town hall. It's a regular thing, and we usually make it a working lunch with sandwiches.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, it's very nice to see you again, Kate, after all this time.
And this goes here, Lindy. Look. Like that, see? Look.
Mince for tea, something like that, all right?
Oh, sure. She likes pretty well everything, don't you, Lindy, eh? Take this, Mary. Please.
No, Tom, no thanks. It's all right. I don't want it. It's all right. Tom.
Yes. Yes, it's okay, honest. I'm going to ring my sister and I think we'll go there. I'm just waiting for the cheap rate, that's all.
At least ring Jean and let her know she's safe.
Yes.
She'll be going out of her mind.
Yes, I will. After dinner. When she's having a lie down.
Daddy, where's Mummy?
She's had to go away for a little while, love. She won't be long, though. She'll be back soon.
And Jenny Fingleton. Do you remember her?
Yes, now, wasn't she the plump girl with the funny teeth?
That's right. She's in London now. She's doing very well. She's a barrister.
Really?
Excuse me. Yes? Is it? Good God, I had no idea. Thanks, Joe.
I am sorry, I really must.
No, don't apologise. Will you be coming to Hartley again sometime, do you think?
I might. But, well, frankly, no, I don't think so. It's very much a one-off, coming to see about the arms estate and so on. The battalion's off to Germany shortly for 4 years, and I'll be going ahead with the advance party.
Ah. Oh, never mind.
But this evening, could we have something to eat together? I don't have to be back until midnight. If we ate early, it's only 2.5 hours or so for me on the motorway.
That would be lovely. Oh, no. I've just remembered I'm supposed to be at the sports club committee.
Oh.
But I have got a cold. I mean, we have these meetings every month. If I were to miss one, it wouldn't exactly be the end of the world.
Oh, marvellous. Look, I'll go and do my things I have to do. What time will you be free?
6?
6 o'clock? Tell me where to be.
In the market square, there's a hotel called the Globe. It has a very nice restaurant. Should we meet in the bar first?
6 o'clock in the bar.
Oh, before you go, are you going to tell me about that army business?
I'm sorry?
To do with your absentee, is it?
Oh, yes. You still haven't picked him up, have you?
No, we haven't picked him up.
It's quite unofficial. I just thought as I had to be in the area.
Uh-huh. We had someone else after him yesterday. He said it was unofficial, too.
Yesterday? Who? My Sergeant Major?
You wouldn't expect me to betray confidence, would you?
Oh, come along, Kate.
No, I wouldn't dream of it. Yes? Well, yes, I would. It was July the 12th last year. He got 2 years and his brother got 18 months. The defending solicitor was Arthur Brown of Brown and Wharton. Uh-huh.
Have you brought a photograph of your little girl with you, madam?
No, I haven't got an up-to-date one.
What about your husband? Have you brought one of him?
No, look, we came out in a hurry. I didn't think, did we, Bernie?
I can get a picture to you, Sergeant, in a day or two of the soldier.
Thank you very much, Sergeant. Sergeant Major, what a surprise.
Yes, sir.
Tom, what are you doing sitting here in the dark?
I thought I'd leave her. She usually has a sleep round about this time. Yes, all right, Mary. I phoned my sister. We'll be going away tomorrow morning.
Where to?
I know you wouldn't tell anyone. But if I don't give you the address, then you couldn't, even if you wanted to. I'll just tell you the place. London.
Have you phoned your wife?
No, not yet.
So, 2 minds with one single thought here, Sergeant Major.
Yes, sir.
And both of us somewhat exceeding Army regulations.
What do you want, a curtsy?
He's too good a soldier, Mrs. Warren, to throw his entire Army career away.
Maybe you should throw it away.
Wish I could understand you, Eugene. Look, I've come. His company commanding officer's come. All we're trying to do is get him to be sensible and come back off his own bat. I mean, who do you expect, the colonel of the battalion?
What do you expect of me? To open a cupboard for him to walk out in front of you?
You must surely want to help us. Especially now he's taken away your little girl.
Oh, no, I don't want to help you. I want him to disappear forever with Lindy.
Where's your boyfriend, Jean?
He's out. Why?
Mrs. Warren, for your husband's good, and for your own good, your little girl's good, tell us where you think he might be,
No. Honestly.
Thank you very much for the lift, sir.
15:33,
sir.
Good time. When will you get back to your home, Sergeant Major?
3 hours, 57 minutes of the journey, sir. Change at Rugby.
A long way for you to have come over. A whole day after your leave.
Don't like to see a good man getting into so much turbulence, sir.
Nor me, no. You're related as well, aren't you?
Well, in a manner of speaking, sir.
My wife and his are half-sisters. I suppose you could say we're sort of half-brothers-in-law. They're not very much like each other, is it? I mean, his wife and mine.
I don't know for sure, Sergeant Major, but I got the feeling that she knows, or at least suspects, rather more than she told us, did you?
There's someone alleging that her husband's made off. She doesn't know where with her child. I guess I did rather so, since you mentioned it.
Would your wife give information she suspected about your whereabouts, Sergeant Major, if you were absent without leave?
I'd like to hope not, sir.
Well, I have an appointment with some solicitors. Safe journey back, Sergeant Major.
And you to barracks tonight, sir. See you next week.
Am I late?
Not 1 minute. What a very nice dress.
Thank you.
How well it suits you. What would you like to drink?
Could I just start with an orange juice?
Well, how about a St. Clement's?
Oh, yes, that sounds nice.
Thank you. Could we have one St. Clement's and, no, 2 St. Clement's. Thank you.
Are you teetotal?
No, but a long drive ahead. We'll have some wine with the meal there, shall we?
God, it all looks so tempting. I don't know how I can choose.
Well, we can take our time. A very nice choice. Thank you.
Well, I thought it'd be quiet. It's never very busy this early in the evening.
Thank you. Would you put that on my bill, please?
Look, can we settle something before we start? You invited me, but this is my hometown. Can it be my treat?
How very kind.
Come on, Mr. Rascal says go to bed. There's a good girl. There now. All comfy.
Daddy, I want Mummy.
Yes. Yes, love. Well,
Where's Mummy?
well, it'll be all right, love. You'll see. It won't be long now. We'll work something out. It'll be all right.
Planners say the demolition of the Wheatsheaf public house in Deansgate, which is still open, and St. Matthew's Tavern nearby, are subject to a satisfactory replacement building being erected by a developer.
No, I was only waiting for you, actually. Did she go off all right?
Oh, yeah. Sure. It's comfortable. She likes sleeping here. Well, I could do with some air.
Tom, are you all fixed up to go to your sister's tomorrow?
Yes. We'll be leaving at 10 in the morning, if that's okay.
Well, I think you should think again about taking Lindy to London.
Mary, I have thought about it. It's only for a few days while I sort things out in my mind.
That's what you said when you first came here.
Yes, well, I need to get away from here. It's not easy, you know that. In the army, everything's decided for you, isn't it? Go there, do that, don't worry. We'll look after you. Just do as you're told, leave everything else to us. When something like this comes along and you have to make your own decisions, then you need time to do it. I have to think for myself.
Well, I think you should put first what's best for Lindy.
But what's best for Lindy isn't living in a house where her mother's living with another man. Mary, I'm taking Lindy to London tomorrow, so please don't try and stop me. I won't be long.
Have you ever regretted it?
No, never. Well, perhaps when Melanie and I... But I had to choose, and I chose the army. Which doubtless tells you something about me.
Yes.
And you, the police?
Oh, no, I've never regretted that, I don't think. Do you know, I've never really thought about it. Because no one's ever asked me, I suppose. What do you like best about the army?
Oh, the companionship. The feeling of belonging to one big family.
Leaves a big hole when you lose it.
Yes, you'd know that.
Suppose it must be even harder for army wives if something happens.
Inevitably.
I met this woman at the sports centre. I believe her husband was killed in Northern Ireland.
Really? Which battalion?
I don't know. Yours, perhaps. What's her name? Mary Marshall? It happened about 3 years ago.
Ah, before my time with them, then. I was at Staff College. More wine?
Yeah, lovely. Cheers.
What do you like best about the police?
Oh, the feeling it's useful, I suppose.
Are you going to stay in it forever?
Who knows?
May I ask you something personal?
If you wish. I don't promise to answer.
How is it you never married?
You want my life story in 1 hour? You'd be amazed. You would, really? Would I? Yeah.
Hello, is that Annie? Hello, can you hear me? Is that you, Annie? This is Tom. I want to speak to Mrs. McAllister, please. Mrs. McAllister. Is that 01246 Is that 01246 8021? Yes, well, is Mrs. McAllister there, please? She doesn't live there? Oh. Sorry then, never mind.
Next year I have to decide whether to retire at 43 or stay in the army for another 12 years.
What would you do if you come out?
My old soldiers don't find it all that easy to fit into civilian life.
Oh, what would you like to do? Oh,
Well, I don't know. Like you, something useful. Perhaps even remarry, try again. Would you have me?
Me?
Good evening.
Oh.
Good evening.
Hello. I'm sorry, I would have introduced you if I'd realised.
A friend?
Well, sort of, yes. He's someone I work with. Well, for, to be precise.
Well, perhaps he's jealous.
Yes. Perhaps he is. More likely he thinks I should be working.
Good Lord, I mean, should you?
Oh, no, of course not.
No, truly.
Truly. Look, I won't come to the car park with you because I've got to make a phone call.
Well, it's been very nice to see you again, Kate.
Yes. I've enjoyed every minute. Drive carefully.
Did you have a pleasant evening, Mum?
Yes, very, thank you, George. I was on my way home unless there's anything special.
No, I don't think so. Just been one phone call for you. Mrs. Marshall. Says she needs to talk to you, but didn't say what about. She'll phone first thing in the morning.
What name?
Marshall. Mrs. Mary Marshall. 12 Cranbourne Road.
Right. Thanks, George. One big happy family. So, as I was passing the end of your road, I thought I'd pop in and see you.
Well, sit down, won't you, please?
Thanks.
I'm sorry, I don't really know where to start.
Well, take your time. There's no hurry.
Well, you see, few days... Oh, Tom. This is, Inspector Longton. When I phoned the station, she wasn't there. I thought I was going to speak to her tomorrow. That would have given me a chance to tell you first.
Corporal Warren.
Yes.
May I use your phone? Do you have your daughter here?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see her, please.
Well, she's in bed asleep.
To satisfy myself, she's all right.
Shall I fetch her?
No, there's no need to wake her up. George? Hello. I'm at Mary Marshall's. Can you send a car round right away? Thanks.
Lost then, are you, Fang? Or are you a recruit for the police dogs? You've got to take exams, you know. You've got to be a very bright dog to join our lot. Right, breakfast first, then we'll measure you. If you're up to standard, you... Morning, ma'am. Another stray.
Dr. Doolittle lives and can be found in Hartley Police Station. Morning, Joseph. Any other prisoners this morning?
No, it's very quiet. A couple of the lads are out keeping office for that early morning milk bottle thief, that's all.
Mm-hmm. What do we know about Enstone taxis, Joseph?
Market Street.
Mm.
Bit of a ragtag outfit, really. Boss is Bill Enston, fat fella. Started taxi driving a few years ago. Now he's got some drivers working for him on a self-employed basis.
I've just driven past on my way in. The place looks like a breaker's yard. Cars parked all over the place. Send Martin down there, mark his card for him. Tell him if he doesn't cooperate and get his cars off the footpath, we'll give him some attention.
Enston won't like that, ma'am. Considers himself one of the economic arteries of Hartley, does our William.
You better go with Martin, then. Give him a firm warning. Tell him it's the last he'll get. I'll be keeping my eye on it.
Right, ma'am.
Bob! Bob!
Yeah?
Come on, Mrs. Turner. 27 hours Stottle Street, you take her to South Terrace, you wait and you bring her back after. Oh, come on, it's a rush job. She's late as it is already.
Send one of t'others.
It's your turn. You miss this and you miss out.
Give up, Bill. You know I can't go that way. I'd have to drive right past front of Social Security. If I'm clocked by them, me benefits up the chute, innit?
Right, Sheila, it's yours, love.
Lazy slob.
Yes?
Hey, Bill. Get kettle on. Hartley SWAT squad's here.
Bob, get on the phone. Oh, hello, Mr. Beck. Officer. It's good to see you. Like a brew, it won't take long.
Not just now, Mr. Enston, like a word. Outside, please.
Oh, at the Book Old Fleet for police ball, that's it.
Well, you should say that. Booking the old fleet. Might just come to that.
If that's a joke, it's in very bad taste, Sergeant Beck.
These cars. Looks like stock car night at the stadium. They can't be left like this.
Come on, Sergeant. The years you've known me. You know I'll do everything I can to help the police.
If you don't get them parked properly, there'll be some summonses flying.
It's not my fault. It's the drivers. I tell them. I keep telling them. Look, they don't take a blind bit of notice. What more can I do?
Well, something's got to be done and quick. My inspector's taken a personal interest.
You want me to talk to the driver, Sarge? Might help.
Aye, all right, go on then. I'll have a chat with Mr. Enston.
Well, I must say, your Bobby seems to be getting younger every day. Not seen him before. Only seems a bit of a kid.
Elmshaw? Oh, he's a bright lad. You know what they say, Bill, when the bobbies start looking younger?
Yeah, I know. Feel a bit old myself, too, sometimes. You know, I was only saying to the wife the other day...
Sorted it, Sarge. Don't think there'll be any more problems.
Well, I'm damned.
Well?
Yes, Sarge?
What did you really say to them?
Sarge?
Don't come it with me, son. The drivers. What did you really say in that office?
Oh, that? Well, just what I told you, Sarge. Well, I just happened to mention that you and Sergeant Parrish had a fiver on who could report most offences before Friday.
You said what?
And that you were behind by about 12. Gotta go now, Sarge. Got a school crossing to do at St Andrews.
Hey! Come here.
You're going to be late.
Go on, tell him. You tell him.
Come on, then. What's up?
It's the fella
What fella?
up there. Keeps falling over.
Why?
He's drunk stepping about.
What's that?
We saw him and he was drunk and falling over.
All right, nosy. Get your rifle.
Started early today, Vincent.
Mind your own business, copper.
Then don't make it my business, Vincent. Get off home. You're not fit to be out in the street.
Clear off, you pig!
Come on, Vincent. Get off home nice and quiet before I have to lock you up.
You lock me up? You must be joking. It'll take more than you.
Last time. Get off home. Now.
All coppers are rubbish! All coppers are bent! Pig! 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 Pig!
Serves you right, Vincent. You all right?
Oh, pig. I'm all right. Just leave me alone. I'm all right. Leave me alone. I'm all right.
I'll get an ambulance.
Stuff you and your ambulance. I'm not going. I'm all right. Just leave me alone.
Get off home. Sleep it off, then.
Evening, Vince. Bottle of brown.
Fell over again, Vince.
Mind your own business.
Have a grand pair of eyes by tomorrow, Vince. You know the second prize.
Bloody coppers. Who do they think they are, anyway?
Police. You're not in trouble with the law again.
Well, you could say that.
What happened?
They beat me up, didn't they?
What for?
Nothing.
Give over.
They did. Saw this copper in May Street at dinner time. He just punched me in the face for nothing. Nothing.
No, that can't be right, can it? If you complained?
Yeah, I can't be bothered.
You got over there and complained something should be done.
Tough.
They made a mess. Should be worth a few kids, should that? If you're wondering even. Heard of a guy the other day the coppers beat up. He got over £1,000 and he wasn't even marked. You should complain and go for compo.
What are you on about?
Well, criminal compensation, they call it. Pay out like shelling peas, they do. Got to complain first, though.
Just go down to the Nick and tell him about it, and that's all.
Ah, nothing to it.
I couldn't help overhearing your conversation. Powerless. Policeman, was it?
What if it worked?
Well, I thought I could help you get some compensation.
What's in it for you, eh?
Police are no particular friends of mine, or yours either, I should imagine. That's by the by. What are you drinking?
Bottle of brown.
Large Scotch and water, please. Yes, I think we should be sure of a fair sum for the beating you took. Yeah. Shall we go there where we can talk? No. Oh, sorry, I don't know your name. Mine is Andrews.
Berry, sir. Vince. Vincent. Berry.
Right, Vincent. Now, as I understand it, you were attacked and beaten by a policeman without any justification.
Yeah.
Then we must make sure that someone is made to pay.
Are you a lawyer or something?
Not exactly, Vincent. I've retired. But I have some experience of the procedure for making complaints against police officers who behave improperly. It's very straightforward.
I've no money. My doll's finished. I only get supplementary. I couldn't pay you.
Don't give it a thought, Vincent. I want to help you. Well, we can trust each other, can't we? And perhaps when we've finished, you'll feel I've earned a share of your entitlement, say 1,000 each or something of the sort.
Sounds fair enough.
Well, the sooner we get started, the sooner you have your money. Now, tell me, from the beginning, what happened?
It was this dinner time. I were in May Street, and this copper, he's got it in for me.
Bye, Sarge. Bye. I'll be with you in a moment, sir. What do you want, Vincent?
I want to see the boss.
Yeah, well, you would, wouldn't you? What do you want?
I'll tell the boss.
Tell me what you want, and I'll decide whether you see the boss. She's too busy.
I've got a complaint.
You sure it's not the doctors you want?
I want to make a complaint to your boss.
Go on, then. What is it?
No, it's the boss I want to see, then something may be done.
I've told you, Vincent, you don't see anybody till I know what it's about, so either tell me or clear off.
It's this. I want to claim for it and make the rotten copper who did it pay.
That's what you're saying, is it? Tell me about it.
Sergeant, your obstruction has gone quite far enough, and Mr. Berry has made his not unreasonable request very clear.
You're with Berry, are you, sir?
Yes, Sergeant, I'm with Mr. Berry.
You are, sir?
Andrews, Sergeant. My name is Andrews.
Do you have any connection with Berry's complaint, sir?
Yes, I'm here to advise Mr. Berry and be sure that correct procedures are observed. So now, if you will please contact your superior.
I'll see when the inspector will be free to see you, sir.
Yes, Joseph, what is that?
There's someone at the counter wanting to see you, ma'am.
Oh, yes? What about?
Could be a problem, ma'am.
What sort of problem?
It's Vincent Berry, local yob. Got a bit of form, mainly for drunk. He's just rubbish. He says he wants to complain that he's been assaulted by a policeman. He has got two real black eyes. It's the fellow with him who smells the trouble. He's a real smooth type. His name's Andrews, he says. I've never seen him before. I don't like what I've heard so far, ma'am.
I better hear what they have to say then, Joseph. Fetch them in. Oh, and when you come back, stay with us, please. I might need some corroboration.
I think you're right, ma'am. Will you come this way, please? Vincent Berry, Inspector. And this is Mr. Andrews.
Good morning, gentlemen. Please sit down. I'm Inspector Darby. I understand from the sergeant that you feel you have grounds for complaint against a police officer.
Are you the boss?
I'm in charge of Hartley Police Station.
Oh, it's you I want to see, then. One of your coppers beat me up, and I want compo.
You say a police officer assaulted you.
Aye. Yesterday in May Street, it were.
Why do you say this person was a Hartley police officer?
'Cause he were. He were in uniform, and I know him.
Let me get this straight, Mr. Berry. You were saying that a police officer, in broad daylight, in a public street, in uniform, and who is known to you, assaulted you?
Aye, that's about it. Dinner time, it were. It were that Helmshire. He punched me in the face for no reason. You see what he did?
Mr. Berry, I'm sure you understand this is a very serious allegation. You wish me now to record this as a formal complaint?
I want a form to fill in so I can get compo.
Inspector, what my friend Mr. Berry means is that he wishes to make an official complaint under, I believe, the provisions of Section 49 of the Police Act 1964. He will, of course, in addition, be seeking financial compensation for his injuries.
I'm sure Mr. Berry knows what he wants.
Oh, yes, Inspector. But he may find your officialese a little confusing, though I'm sure it's quite unintentional on your part.
I usually manage to make myself understood, Mr. Andrews. Now, Mr. Berry, what I'm going to do is make an official record of your complaint. It will be submitted to the Chief Constable, who will appoint a senior officer from another area to investigate it fully. It's only fair to warn you, though, at this stage, and I want you to listen carefully, that should the investigation prove that your allegation is untrue, that you've been telling lies, you could find yourself in serious trouble.
Not a possibility we need concern ourselves with, Inspector.
Mr. Berry, could you tell me your full name and address, please, and then will you tell me what happened in your own words?
I think you will find all you need here, Inspector, in this statement which I prepared for Mr. Berry. I have retained copies, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews. I'll submit that with my report.
And also I have obtained from a doctor a detailed report of Mr. Berry's injuries and corroborating his description of how he came by them. And these are photographs of the injuries.
You seem to have thought of everything.
It avoids any misunderstanding.
What's your full name, Mr. Berry?
Hi there, Martin. You back again? Not up your man, then?
Not yet, just wondering.
Yeah, take it for up the road, see how it goes.
I'm still paying off the stereo, you see. I can't really afford it.
Come off it, Martin. I've told you. I'll do it at the right price for you, like I promised. Spread over 3 years, see? You won't notice the payments in a couple of months.
I don't know, Harry. It's still got to be found. Then there's tax and insurance.
It's a regular wage, though, isn't it? There's no short-term redundancies in your firm, is there? Hey. Think of the birds you'll pull on that.
I'm applying to go on bikes in the job.
There you are, then. Boss is bound to be impressed when he sees you bought a bike of your own. And one like that.
Do you reckon?
Nothing surer. Just before you came here, I sold a bike to one of the lads. He wanted to go on bikes in the job. In no time flat, there he was. BMW twin, white helmet, full gear, the lot. Told me in confidence, mind. He's down to Chaffee Boss, seeing how interested he was, buying his own bike and that. Transferred like a shot.
Yeah, kitty.
Ah, not a bit of it.
How much then, with insurance and everything? I might just manage it.
Now you're talking. Here. You take it for a run up the road. I'll go in the office and work some figures out. I couldn't do it at that price for anybody else, you know. Here, you better borrow this. I don't want to get him booked while you're trying it out, eh?
Hey, Sarge. Come outside a minute and look what I've bought.
The inspector wants to see you right away, Martin.
Put you on for 10 minutes, Sarge. Just go and have a look.
No, I'm busy now. Go and see the inspector. Get properly dressed first, though.
Right, Sarge. I'll see you. Then come and have a look at what I've got.
Come in. Oh, come in, Martin. Sit down, please.
Morning, ma'am. You want to see me? Have I been approved for the motorbike course?
Oh, no, I've had nothing through about that yet.
I just thought, well, my probation finishes next month and it might have come through.
No, there's nothing. That's not what I wanted to talk to you about. I've just had Vince Berry in to see me.
Vince Berry? Oh, yes. But he's got a couple of shiners this morning, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
I'm not surprised after that doing May Street yesterday, man. What a crack! Might encourage him to cut down a bit on the booze, but I doubt it.
Berry's made a complaint that you assaulted him.
Assaulted him, ma'am? That's rubbish. He walked into a wall.
He's made a signed statement that you punched him in the face.
Oh, give over, ma'am. He's telling lies. I never touched him. Well, certainly never hit him, mind you. That's what he asked for, though. I'll go and see it.
You mustn't go anywhere near him, Martin. He's made a formal complaint against you. Do you understand what that means?
Not really, ma'am. It's never happened to me before.
Well, it means I've taken the details and I shall submit them to headquarters for investigation.
Investigation?
A senior officer will be appointed and he'll want to interview you about it.
Well, it's no problem there, ma'am. I'll just tell him what I told you. He walked into a war.
The complaint's recorded, Martin. I can't discuss it any further with you. We shall probably both come in for investigation, you because of the complaint and me as your supervising officer. Anyway, carry on for now and I'll let you know when I hear anything.
But he walked into a wall, ma'am. That's all there is to it. Thank you, ma'am.
These complaint investigations are a pain in the backside. What do you make of this one, Jim?
Seems straightforward enough on paper, sir. Unfortunate we've no corroboration of Berry's story. The statement stinks a bit. Obviously drafted with a fair bit of help from that guy Andrews. I doubt that Berry could have produced it on his own.
Aye, Andrews. Now, he's something else, isn't he? Just out after a sentence for deception, he sat through the interview without turning a hair.
They'd obviously rehearsed their story pretty well. I'm sure if you got Berry on his own, he would have cracked.
Lack of proper supervision's at the back of this, you know. Young coppers given their head will go wild. Wait till they give me my own division. I'll make a few of those so-called supervisors in the uniform branch sit up, I can tell you.
It's that woman inspector in charge here, isn't it?
It is, and that's probably half the trouble.
They speak highly of her up at the big house.
Women just aren't strong enough to control a team of men. Equality, it's a sick joke. We'll get this wound up quick enough and I'll take you to see a licensee friend of mine. You've got the suspension notice ready for Helmshire, have you?
Put it in your bag, sir.
Right. I wish I had £1 for every one of them I've served.
Helmshire will have to cough to make a job of it for us. Can't see us getting any more evidence.
Helmshire will cough. From what I've seen of his record, he's expendable. Like they said about Admiral Byng, it'll encourage the others. The file for the DPP and complaints board should be simple enough. Tied up before the weekend. 3 million unemployed and young coppers think they can behave like this and keep their jobs. Not if I can help it.
Detective Inspector Yates, headquarters. This is Detective Superintendent Nuttall. Is your inspector in?
I'll tell you here, sir.
No need, Sergeant. We can find it down here, isn't it? Ah, evening, Inspector. Detective Superintendent Nuttall from headquarters.
Oh, Inspector Darby, Jean Darby.
This is Detective Inspector Yates.
Hello, Jim. Long time no see.
Hello, Jean.
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
Have you got a spare office, Jean? Somewhere private for an interview?
Yes, you can use mine if you like. I was just going in for a meal, unless you want me for something.
No, this'll do fine, Jean. Thanks very much. Well, certainly see a woman's touch here, eh, Jim? Makes my office look like a monk's cell, doesn't it?
That's all you want, sir? Fancy a coffee or something? Sorry, I can't offer anything stronger.
No, thanks very much. Nothing at all. Don't want to put you to any trouble. Is Constable Helmshire about?
Yes, sir. 2 till 10. Ref's at 6, I think.
Oh, fine. We'll catch him then. Just like a few words. It's this complaint of assault, you know. Vincent Berry shouldn't take long.
He's not a bad lad, sir. Martin Helmshire. Very keen. Bit immature, but right enough.
Yes, I'm sure, Jean, I'm sure. Just a few points to clear up, that's all. Not to worry. Got to satisfy the DPP and the complaints board that everything's been done. Any wrongdoers suitably dealt with. You know what he's like, Jean. Go through the motions.
I spoke to Helmshire when I first got the complaint. He didn't seem worried about it, sir. I didn't pursue it, of course.
Oh, quite right, Jean, quite right. We'll have to see if his story stands closer examination, won't we? As the old saying goes, one tale's good until another tale's told, eh?
That applies equally to Berry, I should think, sir.
We shall see. Right, Jean, you better be off. I'm sure you're busy, woman's work and all that. I'll be in touch.
Perhaps I should stay until you've seen Helmshire, sir. This is my section.
No need, Jean, no need. Enjoy your evening off and don't expect to get too many. We don't, do we, Jim? We can manage fine.
Right, I'll leave you to it then, sir.
Oh, Jean, would you be good enough to have the duty states, disposition sheets, message pads and charge register available for the past month, please?
I'll speak to Sergeant Parrish.
Just what I needed to wind me up for our little chat with Helmshaw. She couldn't see any wrong in him if she caught him with canteen spoons in his pockets. I hope it's not going to be a cover-up by the whole section, Jim. If I get the impression it is, heads will roll, mark my words.
Martin.
Sarge?
Before refs, lad, Inspector's office. The super wants to see you. It's about the Berry complaint.
What, Sarge? Can't I have refs first? Chips will go cold and I'm starving.
No, I want you now.
It's over 2 weeks ago, the Berry thing. Thought it was all over now.
It seems not. Any road, Martin. The Inspector's office right away. Best not keep him waiting. Martin, keep calm and be careful.
No sweat, Sarge. I'll sort it.
Come in, please.
Constable Helmshaw, sir. Do you want to see me?
Good lad, come in. I'm Detective Superintendent Nuttall from headquarters, and this is Detective Inspector Yates, who works with me.
Sir?
Sit down, lad, and relax. You're not worried about anything, are you? Just a few formalities. Look at that, will you? As you see, it's a formal notice of complaint under Section 49 of the Police Act 1964, and as you see, you're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, and anything you say will be written down and may be given in evidence, but you know all that. You can have a Federation representative with you during the interview if you want, but you don't have to, of course, and I think we can sort this out without that kind of interference or the extra publicity.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Fine. What's your name, son?
Helmshaw, sir.
I know that, lad, but what's your first name? What do your mates call you?
Martin, sir.
Fine, Martin. How long have you been in the job?
Nearly 2 years now, sir.
Oh, so you're still on probation then, are you?
Yes, sir, till middle of next month.
Well, tell me a bit about yourself, Martin.
Sir?
What made you join the job?
Always wanted to be a copper, sir. Long as I can remember. School, you know.
Relatives in the job?
No, sir.
What does your dad do?
He's dead, sir. Died when I was 4.
Hey, I'm sorry to hear that, son. Mustn't have been easy.
No, sir. Just me and my mum. Don't you want to talk to me about what happened with Vince Berry, sir?
In good time. I'd like to know what sort of a lad I'm talking to first. In headquarters, you know, we don't get much chance to talk to the lads who are doing it at sharp end. I like you, Martin. You seem a promising young copper. I think we understand each other.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Gloves, Helmshaw.
Pardon?
Gloves, lad. Black leather gloves. Yours. Where are they? Yes, there we are then.
Sir?
Dark stains on them. Don't doubt for a minute the lab will say it's blood. Vincent Berry's blood, son. He said in his statement you were wearing black leather gloves and your gloves have blood stains. See what I'm getting at, Martin? Do you want to tell me what really happened in May Street with Vincent Berry?
He walked into a wall, sir.
He walked into a wall. It's almost original, that, isn't it? He walked into a wall in broad daylight. Come along, lad. That won't do.
Really, sir? That's what happened. He was very drunk, sir.
Ah, very drunk, was he? Very drunk. How drunk is very drunk?
Really drunk he was, sir. Could hardly stand.
He was that drunk, was he?
Yes, he was, sir. Shouting and bawling offensive remarks at me, you know.
Ah, well, with all this noise, somebody would hear it. Somebody would look to see what was happening. Was there anybody?
Didn't see anybody about, sir.
Pity. Real pity, that. There could have been a real help. I believe you, you know. Oh, yes, I believe you. Local yob, he's rubbish, isn't he? Gives you a fair bit of pain, I suppose.
Drunk, mostly. Don't like coppers.
Aye, that's it, lad. I know the scene. Drunk, gives you some lip, empty street, good citizens of Hartley up to their ears in fish and chips or whatever. Understandably, it needles you. See your chance, give him one. Nobody sees or nobody knows.
No, sir. He walked into a wall.
What are your duties under the Licensing Act, Constable?
Sir?
What are your powers as a police officer, your duty as a police officer in dealing with persons who are drunk in a public place, drunk and disorderly, or drunk and incapable of taking care of themselves?
I can arrest them, sir.
Fine. And taking a hypothetical case, a man who was very drunk and shouting and bawling might be thought to be drunk and disorderly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and if this same man was so drunk he would walk into a wall, he might be thought to be drunk and incapable of taking care of himself.
Yes, sir.
Good, I'm glad we agree on something. And would you think that a hypothetical police officer who witnessed all this should do something about it, such as arresting the man?
Sir, I didn't...
Unless, of course, this hypothetical police officer was about due to go off duty, didn't want to be delayed by getting involved, then he might deal with it in a totally different way. What I think you might call administering summary justice. Isn't that what really happened in May Street between you and Berry? You hit him, I'm sure, didn't you?
No, sir, that's not true.
Now, lad, we're not going to fall out about this, are we? You're not the first to try to kid me, is you, Mr. Yates? And you certainly won't be the last. I've been lied to by experts, lad, by professionals. You're not a bad lad. You just made a mistake. Hmm? Look, we've walked the beat like you, Martin, had the abuse and the insults. We understand. We're sympathetic. I want to help you, Martin. I really want to help you. But it's down to you. I can't help you if you won't help yourself now, can I? You see, we must trust each other. Now, you know you can trust me, but how can I trust you if you keep telling me nonsense? Now, we're agreed. You were in neglect of duty by not arresting Berry for the drunk offences, right? Well, don't you worry about that, Martin. You could be in trouble for that, but forget it. It's not that serious that between us we can't sort it out without anybody getting hurt. But I can't go too far out on a limb, can I? Got to think about my pension at my age, eh? So, what I need to know now, Martin, is the whole truth. What made you lose your bottle and hit Berry, Martin?
I didn't, sir. Really, I didn't. Please believe me, he just walked into...
What about these, then, eh? What are you going to say when the lab identifies Berry's blood on these?
I went to him after he'd fallen down to see if he was hurt. Needed an ambulance. He said he didn't. Must have got it on then, sir.
You think you're a smart ass, don't you, Sonny? You think you can beat the system. Well, you'll learn. By God, you'll learn. To your cost. And don't think you come whining to me for help then. If you persist with these lies, I'll finish with you. People like you don't belong in my police force. And I'm going to do all I can to get rid of you.
Don't let it worry you too much, Martin. Mr. Nuttall just gets a bit steamed up sometimes.
He wants to get me sacked.
Nobody wants to get you sacked, Martin. He just thinks that you're refusing his offer of help, that's all, that you don't trust him. He's got a lot of pull at headquarters as my boss. And if he words his report the right way, then people are going to sit up and take notice. Sudden loss of control, that sort of thing, build up of pressure. Personally, I don't know how some of you young coppers keep the control you do the way things are on the street these days. In our day, people had respect for the uniform. Now it's all harassment and aggro. And some of them up at headquarters just don't understand that. But Mr. Nuttall and me, we're operational coppers at heart. We'll go out of our way to help genuine young coppers like you who've made isolated slip. Now, you tell me all about Berry, Martin. While Mr. Nuttall's out the room, you tell me exactly what happened. And I'll help it word it right for your statement.
I've told you. That's the truth, all of it. You. Both of you want me to admit him? No way. If I did, neither of you could help me. I'd be sacked straight off and done for it too. Anyway, I didn't hit him. I swear I never touched Berry. I'm saying nothing. Nothing else, not till I got someone here with me. Federation rep or somebody. Inspector Darbley. I don't know what's going on, but you're trying to make me admit something I haven't done. Well, I've finished. I'm saying nothing.
That's up to you, Martin. It's your decision. Just hope you don't live to regret it, that's all.
You can go, Constable, for the time being. I may wish to see you again. This investigation is far from over. When it is, I shall report to the Deputy Chief Constable, who in turn will report to the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Police Complaints Board. They will decide on the action to be taken. Is there anything you wish to tell me before I go? This is your last chance.
No, thank you, sir.
Right. Leave your pocketbook on the desk before you go. Well, predictably, nothing about Berry. Well, Jim, what do you think?
Well, it's his word against Berry, sir. Personally, on balance, I'm inclined to believe Elmshaw. Can never be sure, but, well, that's the way I feel.
Me too. I'm fairly satisfied he's telling the truth. Though his story is unlikely. Hey, what a bloody job this is.
I didn't, sir. Honest. Don't worry about it. They can get nasty, but if you're...
If? You're just like them. You don't believe me either.
Don't get so worked up.
Too right I worked up. Everybody listens to Berry and believes him, gospel. But me? Oh, no, nobody believes me. But it can all get stuffed. I've had it up to here with the old rotten setup.
Oh, there you are. Been looking for you all week. Hey, John Lates. Listen, I owe you and your mate a drink, you know, for sorting out drivers. They've been as good as gold ever since, no problem. What do you want?
Thanks, Bill. 2 bitters.
Thank you, love. 2 pints of bitter and a large scotch. Well, what's new then, Joe?
Not a lot. Bill's getting you a drink, Martin.
No, thanks. Don't like the company in this pub. I'm going.
Well, I don't think that would call for. I've done him no harm.
No, it's not you, Bill. It's in there.
What, Vincent Berry? Or the bloke with him? I don't know who he is.
Don't worry about it. It's personal. Berry and Elmshaw.
Well, I thought he'd still be laughing.
Berry?
No, your mate Elmshaw.
Why?
Is he a prisoner then, or what?
Time will tell, George.
What's he in the interview room for, then?
Giving information.
What is it, Joseph? What's all the mystery? Why couldn't you tell me about it on the telephone?
I'm sorry to call you out, Mum. I didn't think you'd want to miss this.
Come on, Joe, you only said a few minutes.
Just hang on, Bill. This is my inspector.
Good evening, Mr. Enston.
Evening, sir. Mrs. Luke, I'm sorry about cars parked in the street.
The sergeant tells me that you want to see me.
Tell the inspector what you told me, Bill. Mayor Street. Vince Berry.
Ah.
Yes, Mr. Enston?
Well, like I told you, I was in May Street picking up a fare. You know, Mrs. Ellythorne, lay preacher from Omeroyd Street Chapel, and her sister. I took them to the station. Off to Chesterfield they were to see the brother. Invalid, you know. This is Leggy.
Just what you saw, Bill.
Ah, right. Right, well, this young Bobby, Elmshaw, he were having a right barney with Vincent Berry. Oh, Berry were legless drunk. I shouted something at Elmshaw, then ran off when Elmshaw called him over. Then he ran straight into the brick wall. Aye, it knocked him flat on his back. It were a right crack.
Come in.
You want to see me, Mum?
Yes, I did, Martin.
Have I got it? The motorbike course. Is it approved?
Not by me, it isn't. I'll talk about that later.
But, Mum, it's almost 2 months
I said
now.
later, Martin. The Berry complaint.
That's finished, isn't it?
As I was saying, the Berry complaint. I've now received formal notification from the Deputy Chief Constable that Berry has made a full retraction of his allegation of assault, and there is to be no further action.
Well, they couldn't be, could they, Ma'am? I didn't do anything.
That's just the point, Martin. You didn't do anything. That's just why you left yourself wide open for discipline proceedings.
Well, I suppose Nuttall's got to try and make something out of it. He set his stall out for that from the very beginning.
Do you mean Superintendent Nuttall?
Yeah, him and his sidekick.
That's enough! I think it's time I reminded you of a few simple home truths, Constable. Superintendent Nuttall and Inspector Yates were instructed to investigate a very serious complaint against you. As a result of that being thoroughly investigated, everybody is satisfied that the allegation was totally untrue. And there will almost certainly be a prosecution of Berry and Andrews for wasting police time.
Had that inquiry been handled as casually as you dealt with the original incident, the result may have been very different.
But, ma'am, I think that's very
What
unfair.
you think does not concern me. What does concern me is that a member of my staff, and a probationer at that, failed to deal responsibly with a troublesome drunk and failed to report the incident before going off duty. Headquarters are not pleased, and more importantly, neither am I. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
That's as may be, but I'm now thinking about your future in this job. The way you've reacted to this whole affair makes me wonder. And this motorcycle application, you seem to think you've applied to join someone's flying circus or something. I hope you didn't buy that fancy bike to impress anybody, because if you did, I'm afraid you were wrong. The only thing that will impress me is conscientious effort. Now, it's not an instruction, but my advice to you is to settle down to learning the basic job and forget about motorbikes for the time being. And when you've proved yourself a competent policeman, then you can think about it.
I suppose I'm not the best copper there's ever been, ma'am. Been a bit daft, really. I'm sorry that you think I've let you down, ma'am. I want to do well. I want to do the job right.
And I think you can. Or I wouldn't have supported you so far.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, there's no irreparable harm done. Perhaps we've all learned something of benefit. Off you go, Martin, and think about what I've said.
Yes, ma'am.
Afternoon, ma'am. Trying to remember how to spell differential, ma'am.
Do have someone, Martin?
Thank you, ma'am.
All quiet?
Nothing doing at all, ma'am.
I'll sign your book, please. You're on earlys on Saturday, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if you could help out. We've had a request for a man at private cost, 2 p.m. till 6 p.m.
I'm not doing anything, ma'am. I could do with the overtime, really.
There's something up on the moors. Sergeant Beck will give you the details. Scramble meeting, I think it is. They want a bobby on the paddock. If you can do it.
Great, I'll do it.
I hoped you could manage it.